morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the House That Happens, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill in the heart of the great Canadiana. And we want to say a belated happy birthday to this great country that we live in. And I am a Canadian who loves the John A. McDonald signs, and I hope they all come back up. I am a Canadian who believes that we should be happy to have one of the biggest pride celebrations in the world, but I'm also Canadian that says the Canadian flag should never be usurped in our nation's capital by any flag at any time because I am Canadian. Hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
Welcome to the weekend. We got to have full disclosure. We're doing this on a happy Monday, bro.
Yes, the holiday Monday.
And how was your weekend?
Pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Saw some fireworks, of course, for Canada Day.
I would have to do the big shout out to the Irish boys doing the McCracken break. I don't know what they call it at the Irish Centre in Erin Mills. The Curran brothers brought out their band featuring Mr. C-Dubs, Chris Water, and my son, Zach Cruz, and they tore it up for 2 sets. And let me tell you, the big surprise of the night, which I shouldn't be surprised knowing my son, is they ripped a killer version of Smells Like Teen Spirit to end the night with no encore.
Nice.
Yeah, they did it well. I'm just shouting out to you guys. It was a great show. You know what it was really? I got to say this, bro. I'm not a big fan of humans anymore, okay? So I want to shout out to everybody that was at the Irish Club at Erin Mills because it was one of those vibe nights where it was just a good crowd.
Yeah.
And David, if you're listening, I know all those liberal teachers were in that room too, but that was okay because they were having a good time also. So I want to have a big shout out to the Irish Club, the people that were there, and of course the band, because you got to have a combination of all three to have a night as good as we had on Friday night. Happy Canada Day.
Happy Canada Day. It's lovely to hear.
Okay, and before we get started, there's just one thing I want to say. In this world, especially your generation, Mr. Milani, always talking about who's the GOAT and how you measure greatness and everything and all that nonsense. Okay, let's just think about some things that have happened, and I'm going to put it on to today, too, because I this irritates me. I thought I brought it up before, but it's irritated me so much I got to say it again. Ken Griffey Jr. missed being a unanimous decision going into the Hall of Fame by 1 vote. Derek Jeter missed going into the Hall of Fame first ballot by 1 vote. I want to know the idiot. One more time, are we taking his credentials away for the person that did not vote for Connor McDavid to be MVP? That's a signature thing now that the NBA playoffs are over and they're talking about Djokovic and all the greatness and the Joker winning in tennis and Brady going to see him. How do you establish greatness? Like that's a signature moment in your career that not many people have, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So why would one idiot... Can I use the word idiot, which I don't like to use, but there's a lot of...
Well, hold on. Why is he an idiot? Why can't he just have a different opinion?
Okay, wait a second. All right. Let's cut to the chase here. How many points did Connor McDavid have?
Oh, it was like 150.
Okay, when's the last time someone scored that many points? Mario Lemieux days?
Yeah, that would have been like the 90s.
Yager.
Yeah.
Maybe Yager. Okay, so listen, we've had this status. The guy is... We voted him on here. What was it? Our top 1 or 2 spectacular players... in the world, right? Of all sports, Connor McDavid's there. We are ready to put him on the Mount Rushmore of hockey if he happens to win a Stanley Cup. And this moron could not give them... What did he do wrong? Did he not give him an interview at Pittsburgh that went after, Connor...
Well, why can't this guy just have a different opinion?
I hope he rots in hell. Come on, you took away some greatness. Like how could...
Why are we obsessed with guys getting, the unanimous MVP, though?
Because
who cares? He won the award, though, at the end of the day.
When
who cares?
I was your age, but then again, all these great guys were playing. We didn't... Every day I turn on and I go to a sports site and people are fighting over who's the GOAT, who's great. And then they start insulting old players and blah, blah, blah. But the main thing is they start saying the era, the time, how they played, who they played with, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So I'm saying that there are times in the history of sports where we can define the greatness of a player or his career, which is supposed to be done by these so-called experts.
Well, here's the thing, though.
If you're an expert, how did you blow the Connor McDavid vote?
The award's not for most outstanding player. Let's not forget that.
Most popular?
It's most valuable player to his team. Now, the argument there might be, well, McDavid's got Draisaitl. He had Hyman, who had a great season. Nugent Hopkins lit it up this year.
Jordan played with Pippen. Isaiah played with Dumars. Gretzky played with Curry. Mahomes throws to Kelsey. And the check's in the mail. And okay, I can't say that on the air. Okay? No. This guy had a chance. You don't have many. Mr. Milani, think about this. And you guys started this because when I was your age, we weren't always every day. It wasn't about the GOAT. You just watched the games and hope.
Well, this isn't about the GOAT. This is about the MVP for this season.
Okay, so then one day when we want to be talking about at the end of his career, I'll probably be dead by then because he's going to play another 20 years. But the bottom line is I'm saying that when you define greatness, like what? Well, who's the only one now? Mario Rivera is the only one that can say he's
Mariano
what?
Rivera.
Mariano. What can he say that every other baseball player can't say?
Oh, he's got the all-time saves record.
No, he's the only unanimous choice to go in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Okay, do you think he's the only one that deserved it, but now he has that
Do you think he really cares about that, though?
Oh, when you're in that room, they say when you're in the Hall of Fame room, even when they say like the NBA, when they had the top 75 of 75,
yeah,
they said that crowd split up really quick in this way. The new guys just sat back and awed at the old guys, and then the old guys stood in pecking order. You know what I mean? Jordan stood with Bill Russell. You know what I'm saying like that?
Okay.
Tim Duncan stood with Joe Dumars. You know what I mean? And
I don't get what this. We're getting a little. I don't get what this has to do with the MVP
I'm just
vote.
saying from now on in any sports, because I know I might not be here to do it when Andrew Milani builds a house that happens into the mansion that it's going to be. We will always vote on the right side of significance in a player's career, and I think that Connor McDavid not being voted for MVP this year in the NHL,
but he did get a vote from that writer though.
Yeah, he got number whatever. He's had 6 guys.
Number 5, yeah.
That's insane. That's where if he got number 2, I'd take it. Come on.
In a way,
you're defending this guy?
Hold on. I think there should be room for different opinions.
I agree, but what did he do not to get the vote? You tell me one thing.
I don't know. Talk to him about it.
I will. As soon as he comes sits around, I'm going to say, yo, dude, come on over here. We got to have a talk. You know what I mean? Was it sativa or was it indica? Oh, you don't smoke? Maybe that's a problem.
I think the thing that matters is they got the MVP vote right.
Do you know what I think?
The right guy got it.
Do you know what I think? I think that these little schmucks need to find a way to get some notoriety, so they do something stupid like this. So
I don't think so.
Come on,
because people have been attacking him like.
Oh, he's disappeared. I heard.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
That means he's a schmuck. 100%. You disrespected a position that you would like to admire. You know what? At your age and the amount of sports acumen that you have, you may build yourself into a position where someday someone says, "Hey, Mr. Milani, you know what? We've been listening to you over the years, and you've got a serious sports acumen. Would you now like to vote on the National Polo Championship?" And you would say, "No, because I don't know flying fuck about polo."
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to vote for the MVP of the CFL? And you'd say, "Oh, well, wait a second. Maybe I'll pay attention more to the CFL." And you become a voter. Isn't that how it works?
I mean, sure, I don't think the CFL is going to be asking me that,
Okay, so now you got your first vote in the NHL, and we'll end on this note. And I'm going to call you out right now. So now you got your vote for MVP in the NHL this year. Who are you voting for?
McDavid would have been mine MVP.
And it should have been unanimous. That's the end of the story. You know what I mean?
I think we're splitting hairs here.
Okay,
with it. I don't think that matters. I think what matters is it went to the right person. The process worked. The 100 and whatever writers, 196, they got it right.
I'm trying to think of a better analogy. Anyways, Connor, I heard you're getting married. Good luck with that. I think you're an amazing player. However, you will not get on the Cruises Chaos Mount Rushmore of NHL players until I see you lifting the silver bowl above your head and skating around the Scotiabank Arena.
That being said, though, in the era that we're in of expansion and 32 teams, it's going to be harder for top players to win the cup.
You still got to win one, bro. You still got to win one.
I don't think it's cut and dry like that. Okay, especially like the way in a flat cap world.
Oh, no, it's not going to be flat cap. It's today. We're going to get to that. And by the way,
maybe not flat, a triple hard cap world.
Well, that's going to change. We'll talk about varieties. But before we continue and before we get too far off base, because we're going to talk about, first of all, the draft and free agency, okay? Can I say one thing about both of them, okay? They're so goddamn overrated. It's ridiculous. How do you spend 10 hours on TV waiting for shit? I turned it on once. I thought O-Dog said, "When do I go for a beer?" See, look at his face. They're sitting around. And you know when it's really bad? It's when a year like this year, and on both levels. For example, you pretty well know that who is going to be drafted in the first 5 picks in the NHL.
First four.
Yeah. Okay, you know who's going to get picked. And you know that the story was going to be if the Russian was going to be drafted and when. And whatever. But what else are you going to do in the draft? You're going to have 12 hours of coverage.
You're hoping for trades, but this is the first time since 2007 without any trades in the first round.
And you and I thought we would see some dancing there, and we didn't get it. Okay.
No, but the problem there is that, like, basically all the teams knew like the value of these picks. It was a good first round. Like basically like guys with first round upside were going up until like mid-second round.
Oh, agreed.
So, I think teams were just like, I'll hold back. I'm not going to risk anything because we're probably going to get like a guy we like at this pick anyways. So there was no purpose in trading.
Okay, I got you. So my thing is that's why the draft is overrated, because we'll never know what these guys are going to be doing for a couple of years. It's going to be 12 hours. I just want to say welcome Connor Bedard to the NHL. First of all. Number two, I hope that Mishkov does play in the NHL in the next 10 years. You know what I mean? The wall in Russia will collapse, and then they'll play everywhere, so it'll be all good. You
so
know what I mean?
only one guy signed an NHL contract from this draft. Do you know who it is?
In the top 10. Yes. The number 3 pick, is it?
Yep. Fantilli.
Yeah, he's the only guy that signed it. Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah, because he's older. Isn't he?
Is he? I thought he was an 18-year-old.
Oh, no, is he? Yeah, that's right. He's 18. I forgot. But, I mean, he's played more. I think that sometimes, maybe not. What it is about college hockey is I just think you get to prepare more, which is more important. Like, you hear the greats. They say that's the thing about now that one of the good things about the NBA, and that now that they're paying kids to stay in college, so to speak, but with that NIL never, is that they'll spend an extra year or two in college, which means they'll work on their fundamentals more.
That's good.
So I'm thinking that the product in the NBA will only improve in the next, I'll say 3 or 4 years to get around to that.
Sure.
But you know what I'm saying? Were you happy with the first few picks in the draft this year?
Was I happy? I mean, I'm really have a horse in the race here for these.
Okay, so I'm going to
picks.
say this. In my opening intro, I forgot to add, I am a Canadian who believes the next Canadian team that will win the Stanley Cup is the Montreal Canadiens. And we made the number 5 pick, which was that huge guy from Sweden who I'm projecting to be impossible. I mean, Austria. But I mean, he's a big boy, and he skates and moves like Hedman. That's all I'm saying. So down the road, and took Hedman a couple years.
He could be the best defenseman in this draft. We'll see.
Oh yeah, well that's everything. You never know. I mean,
they're saying that about. I mean, people, the Sportsnet guys were roasting Arizona for choosing the Russian defenseman 6, but I've also heard from other people he could be the best defenseman in this draft. So
yeah, but the way he skates,
never know.
The Russian guy has more offensive flair.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. But I'll take this guy that's going to sit at home. But notice when I said over the draft, is like, I'm going to go back to when I was younger, and here's one of the ones that killed me. It's like, when you talk about the draft, who does what, the 2 famous ones is Rocco Richard did not come to the Montreal Canadiens for about 10 games. He was a stalwart. Every game he had a seat. He sat there. He didn't go there because the Habs didn't draft Mike Bossy. And Mike Bossy went like 8th, 9th, or 10th. We could have taken him. Another year, we could have had Dennis Savard. We took Doug Wickenheiser.
Ooh, that's a pretty famous. You guys took him number 1, right?
Took him number 1, and Dennis Savard was number 2. And Dennis Savard was a Hab guy.
Ooh.
You know, he played in Montreal. Everybody knew him. Like a bunch of old school Hab guys didn't come to the game.
I mean, you're not going to get sympathy from a Leaf fan
who
missed out on Bobby Orr.
Okay, but still, I agree. That's just an unbelievable story. But the bottom line is, my take on it is that's what happens in the draft. Doug Wickenheiser was going to be the next, like he was a Mario Lemieux type guy. He was a Yager type guy. He was that guy. Yeah. Supposedly that's where the NHL was going, and he was a bum. Let's cut to the chase. He was like maybe top 10 with Steve Lott and the Minnesota North Stars. I can think a couple 3 worst number 1 picks of all time, but he has to be up there, especially when Dennis Savard was second. But anyways, let's go back to our point here. In the draft is I'm hoping Montreal got lucky with this guy. Good size, playing with men already.
Yeah,
he's been playing with men instead of playing in the old. He's going to play, and he wants to go back. And he's also, I think he has some schooling he wants to finish, which makes him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be back in Europe for at least another year, is what I heard.
What do you think about Mishkov? Seriously, about his time coming to the NHL?
Before we get to Mishkov, I want to talk about the Habs. I got to rip you guys for a little bit.
Okay, I knew this was coming.
You guys left Carey Price out there to dry on stage. That was terrible the way you treated him. Then Ken Hughes, it's the way we planned him. Oh, just throw him under the bus more. Great send-off for Carey Price, guys. Is that the leadership we're getting from Kent Hughes? Is that the leadership we're getting from Kent Hughes?
Let's say this much. Kent.
Terrible send-off.
Okay, but you know what?
Someone should just whisper his name in the name in his ear. That's all you guys had to do.
Okay, and Carey might have had to smoke the fatty before he got out there. Remember, we're in Montreal.
I hope not.
Everybody, look, Carey was a little loose. Come on. You don't get loose. He didn't look like he just got out of bed and was going to go for a 10-mile jog. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. Now, did Ken Hughes kind of leave him? Okay, I'll give him that. But Carey should have known. You know what? In my opinion, Carey Price can do whatever he wants. I would have rescued him. I would have held his hand. You know what I mean?
I know you would have.
I would have held his hand. So I'm just saying, okay, we could have stopped. I'm not saying, did Ken Hughes look that bad to you?
Oh, he embarrassed him. Do you see the look on Carey Price's face after Ken Hughes said that?
No, I didn't.
It's like his heart fell out of his chest. He's
No,
like,
I didn't
oh, this.
Come on. You know what?
He got embarrassed. He got embarrassed on stage.
Listen, you know what? I'm erasing that from my hard drive, okay? When I'm cleaning up my hard drive.
Oh, I'm not erasing it.
I'm
It's gonna live forever on SportsCenter top 10s. You know you're gonna see that for years and years and years.
As soon as it was over, I said, "Oh no, Carey, you're going to be on those stupid top 10 this." Carey's good. And I love Carey. So, Carey, you know what, Ken Hughes, you know what I had to? The weed is good in Montreal. They got good black hash,
Well,
too.
they were in Nashville, though.
Oh, that's right. But he might have brought it from Montreal. I don't know. But it was, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it was messy. It was messy, and I wish we could have handled it a little bit differently. But I'm going to take the more positive take and say right now, the Montreal Canadiens can be the next Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup.
You guys are still a couple years away from making the playoffs.
Well, considering you guys are taking a step backwards, now we're going to be into.
Where are we taking a step backwards?
The Toronto Maple Leafs traded for 6 guys at the trade deadline, and then they lose 6 regulars at free agency they couldn't touch. Something's weird about that.
We got better though.
Wait, you got
Bertuzzi. Okay, well, hold on. Let's stick with the draft for a little bit. Okay. So you want to talk about Michkov?
Yes. Oh, yes. Let's get back to Michkov. My personal. Go ahead. What do you think?
I mean, I love the pick for Philly. They're not going to be good anytime soon. So, I mean, the 3 years kind of fits their window anyways.
And the way Brière's ripped it down, I get it. Like, if any team in the top 10 was going to take it now, I see, like, look at them dumping everybody. They're like, their roster's going to be like 22 years old on average when they start the season or something like that. So he's doing he's going to the nap. He's tearing down the nap. So if that's the case, it's usually a 3-year new bill. The Michkov shows up in 3 years and looks like Ovechkin. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if he's going to look like Ovechkin, but I mean, like, he's definitely going to come in there. He's a guy that could potentially help turn around your franchise.
Oh, no doubt about it. He's a big goal. Like he's potential. Like I wasn't really. I seen his stats. Okay. But then I went on YouTube or one of those places or wherever I went. They were showing that those like little clips of the draft prospects and what they do on the ice. Like they show that Connor Bedard's goal and junior and all that kind of. Well, they were showing the best of Michkov moves. That boy's a power forward. And a definitive word of power forward. So I respect that. But we're not a political show. We try not to be. However, with the situation in Russia, I can see him being there for 3 years, and I can see him more. You said off the air, what if he gets drafted to go play to fight in the war?
Did I say that?
I think you did.
No, I didn't.
Someone here at Chewy said to me, "Hey, Cruz, what if he gets drafted and he's 18? So I don't think.
The Russia's not going to do that.
No, but he's draft eligible in Russia right now as we speak.
Sure.
And we don't know about the insanity that's going on in that country. And it's very questionable for the first time because we don't want to bring it up. But just last Saturday when they had that march in Russia, that's changed it. And this is sounding like KGB to me because now it's a week later or going almost a week later to 10 days later. KGB should be showing up to do something insane in the next week or so. I don't know what it's going to be, but the repercussions is I don't think that Putin's going to let this go. He's going to want to go back to showing that this is my country, comrade. And what's his favorite sport?
Hockey.
And what's he want to do to keep his best products on there? Boys, you stay home.
Stay
you got
in
a
the
choice.
KHL.
You stay in the KHL or you go to the front lines in Ukraine. What choice are you doing? I'm lacing up my skates. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but how many guys from the top Russian players are suddenly stuck in the KHL?
Yeah.
You know, it's become a pattern. I've read about it where a couple of
there's a few. We got into this too, like before. Like there's a few prospects that are stuck in there that teams want to get out, and doesn't look like they are.
No, it looks like they're going to have to stay
soon.
That's what I mean. So something's going on there now.
A bunch of Russians went in the first round though, which I found surprising.
I did too. There was 3 or 4, wasn't there?
4.
Yeah, 4 Russians, but
2 of them taken by Arizona.
Oh, and they're going nowhere, so they can wait.
Yeah, then Philly and Colorado took a guy.
Oh yeah, what's the name of that defenseman? You're right, the defenseman that guy they were talking. We took the guy from Austria, but some people argued
the Arizona one.
Yeah, they say he could one of the two.
Yeah,
but then again, you don't know.
Simashev.
Yeah, nobody knows until they get on the ice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it was an interesting draft. And this things that I think that are the theory of the day is once again in the House of Happens is everything is going to be about money.
Sure.
And we also know that the not only the draft that they're putting guys away is that the flat cap definitely had effect on things this year. Just on the next day, what was it? 2 days later, we had the free agency start. You know what I mean? In any event, before we leave,
I just want to say a shout out to Easton Cowan, Leafs first round pick this year. Small, but it looks like he's got that dog in him. So
okay, I was just gonna say, aren't you gonna have a shout out to your player? You read my mind. Hey, we're starting to get some synchronicity on this show. I like that. I did want to give a shout out to him. In any event, the draft is the draft. I think the TV time is just tremendously overrated. Then they got to pay for that. And then the next thing you know, whatever. We're going to get to that as the show goes on. But in any event, as we're talking about the free agency, there's one thing I did notice. There was a pattern where it seemed to be a lot of teams were trying to find those extra veteran defensemen that they could hide in the bench or keep in the press box or whatever. Because you see how, now, we've seen in the last 3 years, especially since St. Louis, I believe, won the Stanley Cup. Okay, you look at the teams that have won, and even back in the day in L.A. when they had Muzzin and
they had
Doughty
lines. Willie Mitchell.
Well, all those guys there. So I'm saying now that there must be some kind of a template that's saying, which we've been preaching, and I'm going to take it to the mantle, the house that happens. But we got to patent our name soon too. However, is people are looking like you want the 6 defensemen, but maybe you want 8. Because, the injury factor of the guys in the box.
Ideally, 8 or 9. You're probably going to have to be dipping down to your 10th defenseman at some point in the season. Let's be real.
Oh, you hope you don't. I'm just saying that it seems
But it happens.
Oh, 100%. And I'm just saying that the more we're looking at it, and unless you're the shiftiest guy like Mature on Florida, I mean, even Makar is not a big boy. Carlson was never known for his freaking mammoth size, even though he's a 6-footer, but build. But a lot of teams are building not only from depth, but with size.
Sure.
You see some of these guys that were signed. I had to go check them out, and I'm saying, oh, this defenseman, oh, that defenseman. And then you look at him, and I go check his number. It's 6'1", 6'2", 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". A couple of these guys. And I think part of the reason is, and I know you're a huge advocate for saying is that we don't want bully hockey in the playoffs. You can play tough.
Yeah.
Now, I was kind of cheering for Florida a little bit. Until it got to the point where, no, these guys are being schmucks now.
Yeah.
I hope they lose. If you're going to win on this kind of hockey, I don't want you to win. You know what I mean? This is 1974. And
it was Broad Street Bully-esque.
Yeah, it was at times. And I'm glad that, that's what I'm trying to get full circle on. Vegas had the answer because they had the 6 big defensemen back there that started hitting back.
Right.
Hey, Kachuk, how's your sternum today? Live by the sword, die by the sword?
Yeah, not good. He's going to miss some time at the start of the season.
Oh, really?
Him and Ekblad, I'm hearing.
Yeah, both of them, yeah. Okay, but in any event, I'm saying you can win. I want you to be tough, because what I'm going to say is, I'm going to throw this at you, is that I was talking to you offline, and how free agency and the cap space are, and we are the house that happens. We were in Toronto. I think Toronto had one of the most interesting free agent positions, is because people were poaching your players like crazy to start with. So obviously you guys were doing the right thing, but you couldn't keep them. We're back to that story.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, what we're seeing more and more is teams with the cap space weaponizing it, kind of like what we've been seeing in the NBA in the last few years. The NHL teams have finally caught on. Yes. So Nashville, they took O'Reilly and Shen. Leafs weren't giving them that money in that term.
Oh, no, definitely not. And it's going to be, and if the salary cap, the rumor is $4 million next, it'll be $9 million within the 24-25 season, which could be great signings for now. But what makes it interesting is you guys lost Chari. You lost Riley. You lost O'Reilly, yeah. Bunting.
Yep.
Hall, Shen, and who? You lost Kerfoot. You lost 6 guys, okay? Now, one of the things I'm going to say about it is that you were able to acquire 3 guys that all had grit and sandpaper.
Yes.
Which was meaning. So if that's where you're going to go and you spent your money there. But I thought it was really interesting in the cap year that one of the guys you did sign was Bertuzzi, who's in an interesting position, don't you think?
Oh, very interesting.
I think him and Duchesne are the cleverest guys.
Oh, Duchesne especially, just that roster in Dallas. I want to talk about the Leafs first, but
okay,
I want to but Dallas, you look at that forward group, 1 through 12. Holy,
okay, that's what
they're
I'm
serious
saying,
contenders. But the Leafs, I love the signings. Bertuzzi, Domi, Reaves. It's a lot of that sandpaper. Domi, it's that just kind of rambunctiousness that we've been missing ever since Kadri left. Just someone who's just going to be that douchebag, get on your face and just, annoying you.
But you see, the thing is, he will score, and the bottom line is with Domi,
absolutely.
Domi always shows up
I have him penciled in
playoffs.
on the second line with Tavares and Nylander.
Really?
Yeah.
You got him that high up in the depths?
Why? Where do you think he's going to play below Nyes?
Oh, I forgot about that.
I mean,
I thought he was going to form your great third line. I thought he had enough.
It's possible. It's
I
possible.
think because then that's a better depth thing. And if you bring somebody up,
that's true. Like so you're thinking like he's on the third line with like Yarncroke and Lafferty.
Yeah, like
okay,
something like
that could work too.
And that'd be a big, gritty, banging line. You know, look at those guys. And I forgot they kept Lafferty. That was cool because they picked him up
he had 1 year left.
Okay, so that's cool. So they're not so, but that's a gritty, dirty line, and the other guys do your scoring. That's how I thought of him. And Domi's a potential scorer, and Domi's going to get a little power play time.
Oh, second power play time. He's going to be a fixture on there.
Okay, so as I'm saying, so I'm thinking your thing. You know Toronto better than me. And if they do that with him on the second line, I get it. But I'm kind of thinking like that third line. So it gets to be like you're like Vegas or like you were in Tampa Bay a couple of years ago, where you're not having a huge fall off.
Yeah.
The thing about Vegas is a big defenseman in the 4 rolling lines, okay? And that's going to be hard to maintain in this kind of thing. But then McPhee had a whole different, as we know, that thing that's going on out there in Vegas is different than everybody else because what they've started the last 6 years. Still very clever.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not taking away from that. But I mean, the Leafs, their forward group, it got sneaky good all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, it did. It better than I expected.
Like you look through 1 through 12, it's good. Like we got Bobby McMahon that's going to be coming up playing some fourth line this year.
Yeah, there you go.
Pontus Holberg, David Kempf, and Ryan Reaves is going to be.
Didn't you guys lose Kempf? No, he
signed back for 4 years.
Yeah, that's your stupid one. But that's okay. Not a stupid contract. It's going to be at the time, and he's the type of all the players you need because he was a sandpaper type player too.
The problem there was that like, who are you going to replace him with?
Exactly.
We needed that guy to play to be a number 1 penalty killer with Marner.
Yes. Oh no. He's making his money, and you got the other in there. Now I think the most intriguing thing is that if we can bring up Bertuzzi again, this guy's only playing 1 year for $5 million, isn't it?
5.5.
Okay, 5.5. Whatever the case may be, this guy scored. We've looked it up. 20 goals twice,
and 30 goals,
and 30 goals. Now he's going to be playing on a line with Marner and
Matthews.
This guy
probably top penalty or a power play as well.
There you go. So this guy's looking at, and he's only what, 28, 27? If he's at
28.
28. Okay, this guy's looking at a 30-goal season if he better be on the ice right now working out.
Oh yeah.
He should be down there in he should be close to here. We're in Etobicoke at the what's the place down in Lakeshore, Mimico, where they practice?
Oh, a MasterCard Center or Ford
MasterCard
Performance Center, whatever it's called this month.
Yeah, whatever it is this month. They should be down there skating right now. He should be there because I'm doing there. But I want to shout out to Duchesne because first they bought him out, and you know the salary cap better than I do. How did Nashville do that when they bought out Duchesne?
They had tons of cap space.
Okay, didn't they get any penalty for buying him out?
You do, but I mean, again, they just have tons of cap space. So like they get. Hold on, let me pull it up. I just want to.
3 years left.
We're not. Yeah, I know. So they're gonna have to pay that over 6 years. Then the remainder. But I wanted just one more thing about the Leafs. So they signed John Klingberg as well. That's the one that kind of had people scratching their heads. It's a 1 year deal, and you need a guy to play second power play. So
what's he gonna do on it?
What do you mean? He's gonna be the quarterback on there. He's gonna be playing with like Max Domi, Matthew Nyes. I think it's more talent than it's been on that second power play the last few years.
I hope he hits somebody now and again.
That's not his MO.
Okay, so what you got to do is what?
He's a guy too. Like I mean, it's a 1 year deal. So if he what? Well, hold on. He could be easily upgradable at the deadline.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a nice comeback. I'll give it to you. I'm nothing against the guy.
It's a 1 year deal. I'm not going to fuss over that.
Everything that the Leafs did was about getting tougher, and then whatever. I don't really care because we're going to talk about.
How many good bang 'em D's were out there? There's Orlov, but the Leafs weren't going to pay $7 million for him.
They couldn't have. No, that was a lot of money, but that was a good score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that Carolina and Vegas are two of the smartest teams when they're balancing that cap stuff. They're doing well, and Nashville's doing the same.
Nashville's starting their own era of greatness here, I think, with Barry Trotz as GM. One more thing about the Leafs. Ryan Reaves, 3 years, 1.35 per. A lot of people are goofing on that, but I mean, so okay. Hold on,
I got a frog caught in my throat there.
You're up to Barry up to 1.25 in the minors. Yeah. So even if it completely fails and Leafs got Barry this year, it's only $100,000 against the cap.
Ladies and gentlemen,
but next year, hold on, Cruz, I'm not done.
Is going to be the hype man for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Continue.
So, But whatever, with the cap going up, the amount that's variable is also going up. So eventually they won't even be if like year 3, it's not working out, they'll bury him in the minors for free.
You know what I like about it? This is a Dubas kind of signing. You know that with that
Is
playing
it?
with the money. No, in this way, you manipulated the money.
Oh sure. Well,
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, and that's
don't
cool.
don't forget that they have the guy that wrote the CBA on staff.
Oh, that's true. It's true. Okay, I got you.
They know every nook and cranny.
Okay. So about that. So I'm going on it that way. I'm strictly saying the guy is like, you needed him because you just needed your performance, and we don't want to beat on that for every time we come on. It's a new day now.
Yeah.
Everything in the past is in the past. You start the season, you have a different thing, you have different structure. So I think Ryan Reaves might be the type of thing that the Leafs need to go forward, which brings us to this in free agency. Before we leave the Leafs and we move on to the NBA, I just, two things first.
I got a lot more to talk about for hockey.
Oh, even good. Then let's keep going because then there's one of the things I want to get at about this is that what you do in free agency that is effective to your team, and I'm going to throw it really out there really quickly. We're not even going to talk about the Habs, really, because what did we do?
I had to bring up, well, they made 2 moves. I think they're noteworthy.
Oh, and which are they?
So you dumped Edmondson to Washington.
Oh, okay. Okay, I've been screaming that all year.
So
can't wait to get rid of the guy.
His 1 year left, 50% retained, and Montreal gets a 3rd and a 7th in next year's draft for him. Mm-hmm. You guys overpaid for Newhook, though. Picks was it 31 and 37 plus a prospect.
Yeah, but he's like a 7th rounder, 6th rounder pick. Okay, so let's look at it this way. Some people say that we overpaid for Kirby Dach last year too. If Kirby Dach scores 70 points for us, we're good.
What'd you guys give up for Kirby Dach last year?
We gave up one of our draft picks, and we gave up a defenseman that was supposed to be something. We gave up a couple picks, I think, though, didn't we?
Let me look that up.
But anyways, we gave up a little bit for him. And I'm just saying that seemed to work out for us. And if that the way is, like, okay, Ken Hughes, you screwed up with Carey Price. Let's not talk about it anymore. But I think
is Alex Newhook as good as Kirby Dach, though? I don't think so.
We never thought that Kirby Dach was going to be that good until
he was a 3rd overall pick, though.
Oh, yeah, no, I agreed. And he blossomed in Montreal, and I think he could even be more. He's only 24 years old this year coming in. And he's a big skating winger. With Slavoski, who's in his 2nd year, who should blossom in a big skating winner. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm just saying, like, we're looking at it this way. Here's how free agency works. Everybody knows if the cap is going to go up. I'm very happy with the Habs because the one thing we have now is we've got 6 or 8 big boys coming to camp. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Big defensemen, mobile, skating. We're not even going to bring up Logan Mayo anymore because I'm getting into trouble to making that into a joke when I really want him to be a serious hockey player. Our kid in Austria is going to be 2 years away, and we've got the forwards that we need. So like you say, you run before you walk. But I don't know where we're going to go, where you want to go with the more talking about the draft, but you want to bring it up. But I want to know what the Winnipeg Jets are doing, and I want to know if they're respecting their fan base.
Well, I mean, they had to lose. They had to get something back for Dubois. And they got, let's be like, credit to them, they got a big haul back for him.
I'm glad Montreal
3 roster players and a 2nd round pick.
Yes, okay. No. I'm saying they got. Now I'm hoping, is that going to be the depth that Winnipeg's going to have? Because Winnipeg, what did they do last year? Remember when we were at the All-Star break last year, we were talking about, Winnipeg looks like they could be a team to do it. And what did they do? They drove right off the cliff.
I'm on record as saying I was never a believer in the Jets
last year. No, I remember that.
Year.
You did too. But I was pumping their tires around the All-Star break because they were looking
a lot
like
of people were, in fairness.
I thought that they were really going to make a move. I thought they had the veterans on the roster to make the lead. I thought Dubois was going to be the 40-goal scorer. They had a decent goaltender, blah, 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 blah.
Well, we all know the rumors about what was going on in the locker room there. We're not going to get too into that.
No, okay.
Now Wheeler's gone. Dubois gone.
Yes.
They just got to figure out the Scheifele and Hellebuck situation.
Well, I think they both should go now. In my opinion, if you're going to go that far, that's the old school. Either you get rid of them all, you don't leave one around.
Well, my theory about Hellebuck is he said he wants to play for a contending team. I think they're trying to give it like the one last try to like, hey, look, we got this back for Dubois. We can be competitive this year. Why don't you stick around?
Do you believe they're going to be competitive?
I think they can hang around the Western Conference. The West, like the top of the West is strong, but once you get to the middle, they can probably sneak into the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked if Winnipeg made it in next year.
No, I wouldn't be either. But I'm saying like at the expense of who? Nashville?
Sure.
Okay, wait. I mean, but Nashville says
Nashville's in that same conversation though.
That's what I mean.
Right?
So it's going to be. And what about Calgary?
They're probably not making it in.
Oh,
I'll confidently say that.
Oh, I don't think they made anything significant at the trade deadline. You know what I mean?
You mean free agency?
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Well,
the money, and I know
they got rid of
coach.
I liked what they got back for Toffoli.
Oh yeah.
They got a good player that can fit into like their middle six and a third round pick. But like, I just gotta say, I feel a little bit bad for Craig Conroy. New on the job, he says, we need guys that want to be here in Calgary. What he found out, nobody wants to be in Calgary.
You know what it is, though? It's kind of weird. I heard Jerome again allude to this, okay? I don't go west of Winnipeg. I got no reason. I love my country. I don't go west of Winnipeg. Why? I probably don't go west of freaking Thunder Bay. I haven't been that far in a long time. But
you don't go out to BC?
I don't need. I've seen it all. Why don't I go back out there?
BC's
and I'm not
beautiful.
It is beautiful. I'd go to visit it again, especially in North. But come on, I'm not. We're not a political show, so I won't even give you my opinion about BC. Okay. But anyways, yeah, Banff is nice. I want to golf there, but that's not my point. What has happened is the Jerome again. The thing he says is this: if you go to Calgary or you go to an Edmonton, you go to Winnipeg, and they are winning or at least competing. There's enough vibrancy in the city to make you know that it's a hockey town and you feel it and you can grow to love it.
Hence Edmonton now.
Oh yeah, no, like at Edmonton, like people don't mind going to Edmonton, and it's got a bit of a party town. It's got some rock bars,
and you get to play with McJesus.
You got it. So what I'm saying is that you got to have people like and the late great Tom McCarthy would say is that if you get into a town and you feel the city and you become part of that essence of their hockey nature, and especially of Canada, then you will like Calgary, you will like Winnipeg, you will like Edmonton. But if you're from frickin' Wichita, Kansas, or Oakville, Ontario, or Barrie, Ontario, or Swifts Current, Saskatchewan, you're going, what about those places? I don't know. So I'm thinking the problem is that it's hoping you can draft and keep, which they did, but look at Kachuk's out of town now.
Yep.
And some of their better players are out of town. You know what I mean? Even in Edmonton, like we're talking about off air, where's Yapakov now and Galchenyuk? Like he got the re-signing. I seen that. These guys are all gone. Why? Nobody wants to saying that they don't want to be there. I think Edmonton's a vibrant town. I heard Calgary is really the biggest growing city in Canada as we speak.
And Calgary's like a real foodie town too.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah, I just heard some people come back from Calgary and they said it's becoming a different Calgary. So we'll have to wait and see. As for them being competitive in the league next year,
it all depends on
the new coaching, the new GM. They're gonna have to get.
Are we talking about Calgary?
Calgary. Yeah.
I don't think. I think they got to start a rebuild.
Okay.
I think they're hoping they can turn into a retool, but I mean, you have to be like very aggressive and very lucky at the same time with how things work. Because I mean, hey, you got some pieces that are valuable,
Yeah,
but
I agree. Shepley's still there.
But who's going to be willing to give up good pieces now? Like I imagine you're going to get a lot of futures for these guys, right? That's the problem.
Okay, so well we'll get to that later. What I'm saying is that eventually a team's got to turn a corner when you get all these prospects, when you get all these sort of kindas and your draft pick, and when do you get to the next level? Now, I'm saying that we were in the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Now we've missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. I'm of the school that we should be, if we miss the playoffs this year, I'm not going to be happy. I'm never happy we miss the playoffs, but we better make it the next year.
It's a tough Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but we're building along a way that it seems to be that we could have the opportunity to go forward.
You guys, like, what'd you guys add? Like, you added.
We didn't need to add. We're growing.
You guys finished bottom 5.
Okay, what?
So you're not making the playoffs.
We're going to make the
Detroit was very aggressive in their offseason.
But you know what? I think that we've got a better the build from the bottom up is better than Detroit. Seriously, that's how I look at our team.
What do you mean bottom up?
I mean, like, okay, you're going to start in our back end. Who do they got to play goal? Who do we got to play goal?
They have 3 guys, though, so that's the thing. They got that.
We don't need that. We got our number one guy.
What if Allen and Montembeau both get injured?
They won't. They're going to be.
You can't guarantee that.
You
can't guarantee
Wait. We got the other guy down in Hamilton.
Who?
What's his name? We got another.
Well, your
guy.
farm team's not in Hamilton anymore.
Where is it at again? I don't even know.
Laval.
We got that other guy. We got a third guy.
Caden Primo?
Yes, that's right. We got him too. So technically, he's as good as this. Who's this clown that they signed for $700,000 as a goalie? I thought he was
Montreal.
No, when we were talking before on the air, and I said, "Why did they sign this goalie?"
Who?
And you said depth. Oh, I forget his name now.
What team?
Was it Carolina? No, Florida. No. Who did Florida sign as a third goalie?
As their backup, you mean?
Or whatever. And you said he's going to be there. That's like Primo in Laval. It's the same thing, except we didn't have to use the money.
Well, I mean, you still use the money. You just used it already.
Okay, but still, we got this guy, and we could bring him up. We didn't have to sign a third goalie. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
We're gonna have a rant about that another day
I
because
don't know.
I lose my mind.
I
want two goalies. Now I'm gonna say Allen's been a bit banged up for us, so
already with the excuses.
No, I'm just saying it could happen, but I'm saying no. Our other guy's gonna play more, so we're not gonna have to worry about him.
That's a bold statement.
You're damn right it is. I feel like freaking Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. It's a bold statement. Well, I'm gonna say it. What if he starts 50 games this year?
Well, so what? What's
Then
your
we
point?
got Allen for 30. We don't need a third goalie. Allen doesn't need that much traffic.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if they're gonna exactly.
What's Toronto gonna do? You haven't even signed Samsonov yet.
That's fine.
Okay, so you're gonna play him under this and promise him the money next year?
No, I think they're just waiting to get Matt Murray out so they can make the cap space work.
Oh, okay, I'll give you that. But I think the kid that you had that played
Wall?
Yeah.
He'll be the backup.
I think he's a 30 starter guy now, don't you?
Okay, you know what I mean? Like one backup, 1B, they're kind of synonymous nowadays. Those two
because they got to play more. But you know what? It's not like the old days because they don't. Now, here's another thing. That's why I say soft. A goalie can't start 60 games anymore?
I mean, you can, but we've seen it in the playoffs. Like, by the time you get there, they're burnt out. Like, look at Jake Ottinger in Dallas. They played him into the ground. Where'd that get them in the playoffs?
Okay, so what they should have done is they should have remembered going the last 20 games. And everyone said, did they
Well,
need
the problem
those
is
games?
the problem is their backup is Scott Wedgwood, who's like...
Okay, so then you got to know to do that too. I'm happy with Montreal's goaltending. Ottawa, I thought, got sneaky by that same goaltending tandem. They played in juniors or somewhere together. They won a Calder Cup together. The two goalies in Ottawa.
Corpusalo and I'm blanking on their other goalie's name. The one who got
Ottawa.
injured.
So at least Ottawa's trying to take from the back end too. And Ottawa's got a bunch of big defensemen. And they got new ownership. So they're not going to, and that guy's a hockey
that
guy.
deal's not finalized yet.
No?
No. It's I'm hearing by September.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How come so long?
It's a $1 billion business deal, Cruz. These things don't just happen.
How come
and
the
they still
Phoenix
got
guy, the
they
Phoenix
still
guy
got
parachuted in like nothing? You're right. It's still going to take to September. You're right. It's like closing on a house.
I don't know.
You're
Ottawa, they're going to be in tough this year. I mean, you say that they're
Agreed.
big, but they got Eric Brandstrom, who's not big. They got to figure out the DeBrincat situation. What's going on with him? I mean, Ottawa, it's been the same story for the last couple of years. It's like all the potential in the world, but like, what does that get you?
Okay, so you're saying that they're spinning their tires. So are they the Detroit Red Wings, or you think they spin their tires more?
I think Detroit actually made a little bit of savvy moves.
Well, you know, it's going to be like this. This is how time fast is moving, which is great because that means I'll be retiring soon, but that's another story. We're at July 2nd already, okay?
July 3rd.
July 3rd already. In a month from now, NFL camps are going to be going, and then they're going to be talking about all those extra players that are sitting around that are got to go to camps. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in this flat cap, there's still some. I can't think off the top of my head. Maybe next week's show we'll pick it up. There's going to be like, you know, the puzzle piece that was on the floor. And you fixed it up and said, oh, here's that piece, and you finished the puzzle. I think there's some guys out there that are going to go on teams, and when they play the first 10 games, they're going to do it because there's enough players kicking around. I'm going to get a list of them, but I seen it the other day. One of the gray-haired guys in TSN was pointing it out. There's like mid-level guys or less that didn't get jobs because of the cap, but they could be playing in the NHL. They're all skating at the Endurance Center in Mimico, or they're skating at that place in Edmonton, or they're skating at that rink in Barrie because a bunch of them at cottages. They're all on the ice right now, 100%. Because we're 8 weeks till camp?
Yeah.
8 weeks, basically. Like that's really that's time goes by that quickly.
Yeah, in about a month's time, we're going to start hearing about the players that are signing like professional tryouts
and all that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure, but what's the guy's name with the gray curly hair in TSN? I like him. He's getting older. I think he's my age. In any event, he was discussing that in this flat cap era. One time I did listen. I think he was one that brought up the point that a lot of guys couldn't get contracts yet because everybody's sitting on their hands. Mm-hmm. Like for example, the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know what I mean? And they're a glaring example of doing everything right, and then look what happened to them in doing so. A little bit with the Devils are like that, too, I thought, because I thought the Devils were in better shape cap-wise, and they're really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but like everyone's locked in, though, on that team.
For the time being, but didn't they...
What do you mean for the time being? For like 8 years, these guys are locked.
But didn't they lose a couple of key guys?
Like who?
There's a defenseman they lost, and then they were trying to get
that guy, Graves?
How many guys do they have in the back? They're like
they have 6 guys signed on the back, and then they
do have 6, do they?
Yeah.
Wow, I wasn't sure about that.
And I mean their forward group, like Timo Meier, he's now locked in.
Oh, their top 6, I think, is
Jack
great.
Hughes is locked in.
That's
Jesper
what I'm saying,
Bratt's locked in. Nico Hischior's got 4 years left. I mean, there's a lot of
I
cap
thought they were
certainty
there. Maybe I'm mixing them up somewhere else, but I think that the Devils, I thought they had a little bit more cap room. I thought they lost a couple people because I was looking at the teams that really
They actually have
impressed
5.5 left in
Really?
cap space still.
They dumped somebody last week. Is that who it was? A goalie or somebody?
No, they're going with the same tandem in net.
Which I think they should.
Yeah.
I think and that gets to what at the House That Happens, we come up with our own personal theories about things. Bro, one of the things that you're saying is hold the line at $6 million for all your goalies. I think that's a very maybe you can go up to 7 with the new cap.
With the 3, well, when with the teams looking more at 3 goalies,
then it's $2
like
million each,
Carolina.
but then you got to get a bum. But let's just say, but Carolina's smart though. They still got lots of cap room, and they got young guys and they got good pieces. And we can't deny what Vegas did. They just jetsoned a couple guys. Okay, thanks for the Stanley Cup, out of here. And that cleared what, $7 million? The 2 guys left, they had $7 million on the cap in one day. And those guys were serviceable parts. The forward did get a job, didn't he? He got re-signed. I forget the forward who it was, but the other guy's
the guy who they dumped.
Yeah, they dumped.
Well, Riley Smith, they traded him to Pittsburgh.
What would happen to the other guy? Is he still out there?
What other guy are you talking about?
Vegas dropped 2 guys that were regulars on the cup. I forgot they traded in Pittsburgh, which is a good move by Dubas.
Kessel is a free agent. I don't know if he's going to go back to Vegas.
No, Kessel's not. It was a guy that played more than Kessel. In any event, what I'm saying is that I like the way that they manipulate their pieces to maintain that they can pull somebody in along the way. Carolina's very crafty at doing that, I've noticed. Nashville, like I say, is bringing up caps. What I'm saying is back to the who's and the who's not. The teams with the big mess of things are the New York Rangers.
Oh, I want to bring them up next.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So Wheeler actually signs like a crazy deal with them, $800,000 plus it could be like another $300,000 in bonuses based on performance, and then they signed Jonathan Quick, $825,000 for 1 year. That
made me laugh.
I think that's a mistake too.
Why?
He stinks. His goals against was like 4.5 last year.
He was going to play 60 games.
So you're going to lose the other 20 games?
No.
Good luck making the playoffs.
Don't they had a third goalie too, don't they? Who's not? He's questionable. He's a young kid. I think they're there quick because of his veteran presence. But Wheeler got paid getting bought out. He got bought out of Winnipeg. So he can afford to take. He's like Matt Duchene 2.0.
Yes, yeah. No. That deal I think is unreal. But I mean, the Quick one, I think that's going to be a huge mistake. I know what he wants. He said,
he ain't getting that.
What? You know what I'm getting at?
A couple years, right?
Well, he's going after the wins record by an American.
Oh.
He's 16 behind Ryan Miller. I don't think he's going to get it.
I think he might. I did not know that.
16?
Yeah. If he plays on that, if he plays, that's a good team he's on. Come on, they can get 16.
I think he's going to be actively losing them games.
I just think
his goal was he was like a 4.5 goals against last year with what, like an 880 save percentage.
Sometimes he couldn't stop a beach ball, but let's get back to what we're talking about.
Even he played in LA and Vegas, 2 like really good teams.
Solid.
Vegas just won the cup.
Yes.
He looked awful on both
he was
teams.
Terrible. He was terrible. So maybe I don't think he's going to get there. But anyways, let's wrap this up.
He's going to be bought out or whatever by mid-season.
Okay.
I want to just do some rapid hits on some of the signings, and we could just give our yays and nays basically.
Okay.
So Dallas, some good ads. Matt Duchene, Craig Smith. We talked about them.
I thought they were the best. That's some of the smartest right there. Dallas is definitely going to be on the doorstep next year. They're going to be, you know what I mean? Like on paper. Remember, all this is on paper, people. Okay, let's get this straight.
They should be right back in the conference finals again.
100%.
If health is on their side, of course.
Yes, 100%. I agree with that.
Dubas snags Noel Achari from the Leafs.
Good pickup, and he knew who he was, so he's familiar with the player.
They're already $1.5 million over the cap, though.
Are they? Ooh, that's Dubas for you. Yeah. I love it.
Red Wings signed Justin Hall for 3 years by 3.4. Shane Gostisbehere 1 year 4.1.
Wait. Go back to Hall.
Okay, let's do it. So he's a good locker room guy.
Does he tie skates? Does he tape sticks?
He was buddies with Marner apparently, so I think Marner's gonna be a little bummed to lose him.
Okay, listen, let's not beat on the guy, but come on, that's why he's gone. You're not paying him that money.
No, not on 3 years.
No,
I'm surprised.
I was shocked.
The Leafs were paying him 2 a year. I thought that was ridiculous.
Yes, okay. And now he goes and gets this. You know what? Take what you can get.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So let's not,
This is another one though. Like once the cap goes up in a couple years, it could be a.
We won't even be having
Exactly.
this discussion. It's just because we're in the famous flat cap year, so to speak. Okay?
Gostisbehere 1 year $4 million. JT Compher 5 years by 5.1 to be their second line center. James Reimer 1 year 1.5 and Alex Lyon 2 years 900,000 per.
What do you think about the Kings getting what's his name, Garvikov?
Oh, signing him back?
Yeah, I think that was a good move, don't you?
I don't know what to think of Gavrikov though.
I thought he would get better.
I haven't seen enough of him.
I thought you know what I thought? And look, remember, he's only 27. You know what I thought? I thought he'd be a guy that would get a little more overpaid. Maybe he's comfortable in LA.
Yeah.
I thought he'd get a little bit more. I really did. I thought he would get a little bit more. I actually thought he'd get more money. Do you know what I mean? But
well,
I thought
he signs for
remember,
he signs
he
signs for only like 2-3 years, right?
Yeah.
So I heard the play is going to be
plan?
like he's waiting for the cap to go up and then he's going to really cash in. I heard that's in him and his agent's plan.
Well, he better play good.
I mean, he's on LA. They're a good team.
I love this line here, and I just heard it. Like, his reputation was inflated simply because he was available at the trade deadline. Because remember, he was one of the top 5. Everyone was
talking about him as like the top D or the top Ds to acquire.
That's why I'm asking about him. I said, wow, how did that happen? And he's only there. Maybe you're right. I don't know. But I thought he would be a guy that would have been like 3 or 4 a year with the $5 million kind of deal. I thought he was going to come in there. So when he only got 2.8, interesting you said that. However, look on the other one. Our 31-year-old Orlov.
Yes.
Got $5 million.
More.
What, 5.1?
Even Gavrikov. No, Orlov made 7.
Cap hit is 5.1 million. It says here.
That maybe last year. Hold on, let me pull this up.
The best defenseman available, free agent, maybe even the best overall player.
Even Gavrikov, I think his cap hits higher. Are you sure you're not looking at last year's?
No, I'm looking right now, aren't I? The impact players.
No, I think.
What?
Well, let me pull this up quickly. No, because Orlov 2 years 7.75 per.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And then Gavrikov, I could have sworn his number began with a 5. Yeah, Gavrikov 5.87.
Yeah.
For 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I got that for 2 years. So it's 2 point something against the cap. He only got $5 million.
No, it's 5.8 against the cap for Gavrikov.
For 2 years,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay, I get that. But I'm telling this, Orlov's getting $5 million. He'll be $5 million a year against the cap.
No, it's 7.75.
Wow.
For 2 years.
Wow. You think he's worth it? But if the cap goes up, you're okay, and then you're off the hook. Is that how we're playing?
Orlov that good though?
That's what I'm saying. Him and Gavrikov.
Like he's big, he's mean. I get that.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying, and maybe I'm wrong because of the age difference and shit like that. I thought Gavrikov would have probably got a contract closer to Orlov's. I thought, but maybe he was inflated. But you know what I mean? Like maybe my optics weren't as good as the people that are doing this business, obviously. But he was such a.
Well,
Gavrikov didn't in the playoffs.
Gavrikov didn't go to open market either. Let's not forget.
Okay, but he played very well in the playoffs.
Sure,
he played very, very well. He was like in demand, and I just thought he would get more than 2.8. I really did. You know what I mean? Maybe
5.8.
I mean, whatever he got. He got 5.8 a year.
Yeah,
really.
You might be looking at last year's cap charts.
Let me take a look.
Because
he better got 5. He got
5.8. 5.875.
Okay, then
Carolina,
he's worth how many earning for 2 years?
2 years.
Okay, then I'll take that. Okay, maybe I'm looking at the wrong one because I thought, man, that guy should get more money.
Carolina also signed Bunting 3 years by 4.5. And they keep status quo in net. Anderson back on a 2-year deal worth 3.4 per, and Antti Ranta 1 year 1.5.
I thought all those deals were worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not
team related. You know what I mean? They're not going to kill you.
Between their 3 goalies, they're spending under $7 million in net, which, I mean, they're going to need those 3 guys, knowing the health status of Anderson and Antti Ranta.
Well, I'm looking at it this way: we're going to go to the Milani mode and say $6 million or left, $7 million at the most. So I think they come in under that. You know what I mean? What do you think of the Bunting signing as an ex-Leaf? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's good for Carolina.
I agree. He's going to fit that team well, but I'm talking about the money. Carolina can fit him though.
Yeah,
they're wise to do it, and we're going to go back to the flat year. And 2 years from now, that contract could look like a steal. Mm-hmm. But do you think he will progress or regress? Who's he going to play with on that team? They're saying he's going to play with Aho, and
I think he's going top line.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he's a top?
He's a top. I
line?
think that props him up to the top left winger on that team.
Oh, on paper it does.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any? We put credence in the fact that he played with Matthews and Marner. That's why we jacked Bertuzzi. So he's not playing with Marner and freaking Matthews when he goes to Carolina.
No, well, it's also more of a defensive system there. Let's be real.
Okay, so you're going to sign the guy for that money. He's got to give you 60 points, right? He's got to give you 60 points or he's not.
Well,
worth
let's
the
say it's a
money.
defensive system, so maybe.
What's he going to do?
Maybe
Penalty
50.
Kill you all day long?
No, he's going to be.
50.
He's going to be.
If
He's there. Hold on.
60, he's not worth it.
In a defensive system, though, it's not exactly apples to apples, though.
I can't even believe that we're talking about this again. When you talk about generations, a guy scoring 60 points, he gets $5 million a year. Give me a break.
He's making 4.5.
Okay, so what? Still,
Islanders.
60 freaking point.
Islanders spend a lot of money on their goaltending, so they extend Sorokin an 8-year deal worth $8.25 per.
Oh,
and
that
they extend their back. And they expect, so you're already playing the jump rope here with the cap. And then you sign Varlamov, your backup, 4 years by 2.75. So starting next year, that means that the Islanders are going to be spending $11 million between their two goalies.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Everybody else on that team is under contract and they made the playoffs.
Barely.
Okay, so but they're bringing them all back because they were all signed in there so they could afford the goalies this year. So let's get back to original thing, flat cap. Islanders might get away with this one. They might. Everybody else.
I think these contracts are still good. I don't know.
When you look at their lineup, everybody that played last year is pretty well locked up. They didn't really add. They didn't really subtract. It was a solid team. Everybody, and they're young. They could get better.
They just barely made the playoffs, though.
So then you.
I don't think they're slam dunk to make the playoffs.
Oh, I'm not saying they are either because Montreal could be the one that replaces them. Remember that.
I'm thinking Detroit. Maybe if Buffalo gets a goalie.
Oh, okay, Buffalo too. And Buffalo didn't really make a lot of moves.
No,
Because
they added Eric Johnson. That's about it.
Yeah, well, because another big guy back on the back end, which is everybody's doing. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's going to me. It's going to be down to your coaching, your system, and did your team improve? And I'm saying that Montreal.
I don't know, but like, hold on. Let's look at the Islanders though. They gave all that up to get Bo Horvat, and he did not look good.
Okay, but he's got the second. This is the second time here to do it. Maybe you just got to get comfortable. I think McCabe's going to be better in Toronto this year.
Okay, fine, but like there's a lot less risk involved with that.
Well, what I'm still saying is that sometimes it takes a while for the guys to get adjusted, but that's enough hockey
I know. And
talk.
then hold on. We're
really
going rapid fire.
Okay.
So Islanders also extend Pierre Engvall 7-year deal worth $3 million per, with a 16-team no trade list.
How did that happen? That guy's agent. I want to know him immediately.
My conclusion here with the Islanders is just that Lou has lost his mind.
Maybe, but you guys let him. Remember, I thought you guys should have kept him.
I thought we let him go at the right time.
I know you didn't, but now that you see the money he got paid, maybe that's why he's gone.
This is the same thing that's happening in Toronto. How much did we give Nikita Zaitsev? How much did we give Patrick Marleau?
Oh yeah. But I've
seen this one before. I don't like the ending.
Okay, but I'm glad then you're good he's got out of town.
Oh.
And you should be glad he's out of town.
I mean, it was tough.
I was shocked at his money in that many years. I was shocked. When I seen that one, I went, what? Really?
With the trade protection as well. That's it's... I don't like paying bottom six... Or sorry, I don't like giving bottom six guys long term.
Okay.
I think that's a bad mistake.
Okay, but well, how old is he now? He's 25, right?
He was drafted 2014, so he's got to be like 27 now.
Okay, so anyways, if he can do this for the next 5 years, score 20 goals every year and play that way.
He's never been a 20-goal guy.
Maybe he'll get more ice time now. He didn't get the ice time on the Toronto, get 20 goals. Maybe he'll move up and do that. I'm always trying to think of where you shift guys to.
In fact, like the way the Islanders lineup kind of shapes out, he's going to be on the third line.
Okay.
He's not scoring 20 goals there. He's not going to get any power play time.
Okay, so there's guys in the league this year that we'll do that. We'll talk about it on another show. But okay, there's guys in the top 20 or the top 30 in scoring this year in the NHL that if you had started the season last year, we would not believe they would have been in the top 30. Okay, so I'm just saying that there's potential for some of these guys to change their motif and score more. For example, Bertuzzi was expected to score more in Detroit than he did because he had the previous 30 goal season. So he had a bit of a step back. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I'm saying you're hopefully...
Well, he missed some games this year as well.
And he missed some games. Yeah. He was banged up and stuff. But you know what I mean? So I'm saying that I'm thinking that some of these guys, Engvall could be one of them, finally breaks through and scores his 20 goals.
He's shown nothing to prove that, though.
Damn, money's crazy then. The money's crazy. I'm just going, I don't get it. I'm not a GM, but I would not have paid. That's why I'm saying, I thought it was rough for Toronto, the inside looking out kind of deals, because how much they lost with players of quality they couldn't keep. That even
Shannon
got
O'Reilly,
overpaid. Yeah. And they got, in my opinion, they got overpaid. I'm going, wow. But that's the way it is. And anything else you want to say about the draft and free agency?
I just want to bang off some ones here. Boston signs Geeky 2x2. Shattenkirk 1 year, $1 million. Lucic 1 year, $1 million. JVR 1 year, $1 million.
I know. I seen that. I went, what?
Anaheim made some big signings. They're the only team still under the cap floor, by the way, so they still got to add about $6 million more in cap space. But they signed Killhorn 4 years by 6.25. Radko Gudas 3 years by $4 million.
Oh, both of those guys are I think they're both a little overpaid. Both, don't you think?
Sure.
Really?
I mean, Anaheim can afford that, though. They need to hit the cap floor still.
Oh, that's true. Okay,
right? So they can afford to overpay. Edmonton, I don't think we talked about the Connor Brown deal. So he signed for $775,000, but with bonuses, he could hit up to $4 million. And Edmonton's a team where with the cap overages you would get. So how it works is if the bonuses, you got to pay players. If you can't fit that under the cap this year, it basically leaks into your cap next year. But the way Edmonton's set up, everyone's on contract, everyone's locked in. So if the cap goes up that $4 million, the overage isn't really a worry for them.
That's a good thing. So what does he have to do? Score 20 goals? I think that's one of them, right?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the details. Probably 20 goals, 40 points, 50 points, that kind of thing.
Don't you think that's weak, though? No, I'll take 50 points out of him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if those guys like Bunting, if Bunting doesn't score 50, 60 points, that's a waste of money. To me, all those guys, I don't care if you're intermediate. We're talking about a tight.
Well, it's also a weak free agent class. You got to take that into account.
It is weak free agent class in a flat cap environment.
Dangerous combo.
And to me, I was blown away.
Jason Zucker got 1 year, 5.3. Kerfoot 2 years by 3.5, both in Arizona.
Yep.
Panthers trade Anthony Duclair to San Jose. They signed Oliver Ekman-Larsson 1 year, 2.25.
That's solid.
They signed Evan Rodriguez. I think this was a good pickup. 4 years, $3 million per. He was a guy
Where did they get him from?
He was in
Minnesota,
Colorado last year.
Colorado.
He was a guy I was looking at the Leafs to pick up. But they got their third line center for Domi. So we brought up Nashville signing Luke Shen 3 by 2.75. Ryan O'Reilly 4 years by 4.5.
Oh.
So I think the only thing about Ryan O'Reilly is he probably scored a little bit too much for Barry Trott's liking.
Oh, yeah.
60 points, that's way too much here in Nashville.
Okay, wow. That's what they got.
Hawks, Blackhawks overpaying for culture, basically.
Yes.
But another team that can, again,
do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know what? I think it's important for them. Some of the pieces that Chicago had it out of respect to Connor Bedard. I really do. I think some of these pieces are.
Oh, it's all about Bedard.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, because some of these guys are character guys too, and a lot of guys can lead by example.
Perry,
yes, all that mentoring stuff, and to protect them too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Why is Corey Perry there? Wouldn't that be great? What if he played in the line for 10 games with Bedard and suddenly scored 20 goals because they just get all that garbage sitting around?
That'd be hilarious.
Oh, wouldn't it? No, because I'm saying now that I noticed it on who was the guy that played on the line earlier in the year and then he got hurt with Jack Hughes? I'll have to look it up. The guy didn't score 20. He got 18 or something. He got hurt. But this guy suddenly scored goals. What was the winger's name?
Miles Wood?
Is that who it was? How many goals did he get? He didn't get 20, but remember earlier in the year, he was getting the garbage goals of garbage goals.
Yeah.
He was just being there because Hughes was on the ice. He was just skating around. Oh, look what I got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
he's the one that, if it's the same guy, he signed in Colorado.
Oh, yeah, because he got some money for that, didn't he? Yeah. But I don't know if he's going to score any more than he did because he was on that line with Jack Hughes and he was just getting garbage.
He's also going to a team now with plenty of talent.
That's true, too. What's the deal on Landeskog?
I don't know. No one seems to know yet. I mean, his career could be over.
Oh, that's brutal. Good luck to you, buddy, if you're listening.
Colorado made some interesting moves, speaking of them. So they got Ross Colton with one of the draft picks they got from Montreal, 37th, the lower pick, actually. They got Ryan Johansson from Nashville for half price.
That's a good pickup, I think. For their team, he'll fit in.
He doesn't have the foot speed, though, of it's typical the Colorado players. I think they're hoping that the wingers can kind of help prop him up. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think it will pay off at the end of the day.
I think he can still score 20 goals.
He can.
That's
the thing. But it's all about those. They got to play him with those speedy wingers, though. Otherwise, he's gonna be in no man's land.
Do you think he ever reached his potential?
Johansson?
I thought he was going to be better.
You thought he was going to be that like prototypical like number one center?
Yeah,
he never lived up to that. No,
I thought he was.
But like, how much of that is just because he was the number 4 pick or whatever, right? And you look
bad
back
drafting.
I think you look back and maybe just wasn't the deepest draft class.
No, I get that too, but still, I thought remember because you're right, his skating sort of seemed to fail him a bit, but I thought he was like going to be that guy. In the center ice, move the puck around, scored goals, give you 70 points.
He had a couple of really good years for Nashville. He was a big reason why they made the finals that year.
Oh yeah, and then what happened? He scored 80 points one year, right?
I'm pulling up his stats now. I don't know if he ever got to 70, maybe. I don't know if he ever got to
70
80, though.
for sure. He got 70 for sure. But I thought he would be.
His third season in Columbus, actually, he had 70 points. He never put up 70 with Nashville.
Oh, boo.
But again, Nashville is like super defensive system.
But he did score. He did score 70 though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me look. Okay.
But he was a guy I thought would be better. I just thought he'd be a better hockey player. He didn't turn out to be.
Oh, he was traded for Seth Jones 1-for-1. I forgot about that.
Yes, that was. And who won that deal?
I mean,
and
neither
both
guy
of them weren't happy in their teams at the time, where there was like they were questioning their potential. Remember all that bullshit that comes up with the media? So both of them got kind of. I'm not saying neither one of them got chased out of town, but maybe it was time for both of them to go. And besides, Seth Jones wanted bigger money. Everybody knew he wanted
look
money.
What we got in Chicago.
Yeah, he wanted the money, so you knew that was the main reason there.
I mean, even looking back to that draft, though, like the 2010 draft when Johansson went number 4, it was not a good first round.
Yeah, who was number 1 that year?
That was Taylor Hall that year. So Hall, Seguin 1-2.
Those are both solid guys.
Okay, but then you go Eric Goodbranson number 3.
Where is he now?
He's still hanging around, but he's a bottom pair guy. Okay. Johansson, Niederreiter, Tampa Bay, Steve Yzerman's first round pick, number 6 overall, Brett Connolly, a third liner. Then it's like Jeff Skinner, Mikael Granlund win the top 10.
Skinner played solid.
Jack Campbell went 11th overall that year.
Oh, wow.
By Dallas. Basically cost Joe Nieuwendyk his job.
There you go.
Cam Fowler was expected to be a top 3 pick that year, fell to number 12.
And never panned out to be anything that we thought he was going to be.
No. Jaden Schwartz was a first-rounder. Tarasenko went 16th.
Oh, yeah. But he's just a head case, Russian
head
case.
There you go.
He won a Stanley Cup, though.
He did.
He won a Stanley Cup.
Even though he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to...
Is he back to the KHL too?
No, he's a free agent. I thought he was going to sign with the Islanders, but it looks like they're out of space.
Well, he's one of the guys that Craig Button guy. That's who it is, Craig Button on TSN. He's saying there's a bunch, not just Tarasenko, but there's a bunch of guys out there that haven't signed.
Yeah, well,
there's a bag load of them, and we'll see. Like you say, those tryout contracts and all that other nonsense could make it interesting around camp time.
Sure. And one last contract I want to bring up with Colorado is they signed Jonathan Drouin for cheap.
If that guy does, and he went to play with his junior
teammate,
you know what? Honestly, Drouin, good luck to you. Good luck, because I'm going to say this much. I'm glad he left town. I'm tired of the guy. Sorry. I mean, like all that dipsy doodle, compulsory shit, never shooting a puck. With all that skill, you got to go. However, maybe the pressure in Montreal, maybe whatever it is, it could have got to you. I hope you, because he's only 28 years old.
That's where I was going, was the pressure. Like, think about how much media pressure was on him.
And
he was like the savior or whatever, right?
He was the next coming of whatever.
Yeah.
And what was he? And he didn't do anything, but that's something that was his own doing, because then he liked to be downtown too for a while. I don't know if that's the rumor. Anyway, Drew, and I hope you have a huge success in Colorado when you have left, but I'm glad we had to let him go. We had to let him go. I thought it was, when I was there, the only reason he's there is because McKinnon. Come on.
Of course.
You know what I mean? No other reason. Or the guy'd be out of the league, and he's only getting what? $1 million? $2 million?
Under $1 million. It's like $850,000.
Oh, he's lucky he still got a job. How's that? I hope he makes the team. He hasn't made the team yet.
I think he'll make the team.
They got a seat for him.
Pencil him in for 40, 50 points. That's my prediction.
What? If he scores 50 points, I'll be pissed. He can still skate, though.
Oh, there you go.
He can still skate.
He can play the Colorado system.
Oh,
then.
he can play that style. His skating styles to be there. But what are you going to say?
Shall we move on to the NBA?
Well, which is just another difference between the two leagues, because I think the NBA draft is another bunch of overrated nonsense with prima donnas getting away with murder and
the draft.
No,
free agency.
The free agency was just. We'll get to that in a second.
Well, I mean, do you want to just start with Van Vleet?
No, we want to start with this. We want to welcome Wembanyama to the NBA.
Oh yes, Victor.
Yes, sirree. This guy is going to be a generational player. Like I'm saying, I've never heard anyone talk about a player like this since LeBron.
Oh, they're saying if him and LeBron were in the same draft class, he'd be ranked over LeBron.
That's what they're saying, yeah. But I don't know because LeBron's already proven this kid's got a long way to go.
But this guy is has that LeBron athleticism with more size, basically.
Oh, size to good, bad, and ugly. Like he's got they're not got him on protein shakes. They got him at Burger King and McDonald's, man. They got him right in line. They know how to put weight on this guy. But
that's fine. He'll come.
Okay, but here's the great thing about America that blows my mind. Okay, Scoot Henderson was the perennial number 2 guy. Everyone talked about him. He went to the G League. He got bigger. He played against NBA guys. He was learning the game. All the guys in the G League said he was great. Then America says, hey, we can't have gangsters. We can't have this. Oh, this is bad for the league. And who goes number 2? Brandon Miller from Alabama, who was supposedly in the car with the gun with the guy who killed somebody. So what? It's a fraud. NBA, stop it. Whenever you're going to tell me right now, because what?
Well, I mean, the NBA is also just the most notorious for overthinking their picks, especially at the top.
Agreed. But I mean, I heard that. All I heard was, if Wembanyama wasn't around, Scoot Henderson would be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yes.
Okay. And all of a sudden, this Brandon Miller guy comes along who puked it up huge in the round of 16 in the tournament.
Yep.
Suddenly, he's the number 2 guy. Now, in college, he looked like it. But if you want to see red flags on a player to be drafted, well, let's talk about Mr. Miller. So, any event, welcome to the league. I was kind of caught off guard. Like, if he had got picked 3rd, I would have got it. I don't know what he did in the last 60 days.
Nailed the interview.
I don't know what he did. I think the steal of the tournament's going to be Cam Whitmore, number 20. Yeah, he was played for Villanova, and he comes from a long line of guys that look like Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Kyle Lowry, and Alvin Williams. You know, he looks like he's one of those type of guys, and he went 20th. I thought, I'm saying he's going to be the steal of the draft. Not only that, I think it's because he had a little bit of an injury issue along the way. But all the rest of it in the NBA, if you just let's go back the last 10 years when you draft, that's probably a bigger crapshoot than hockey, in my opinion. So I want to say, well, Wembanyama, I thought he was a good pick. I was surprised that Miller went number 2. I was shocked at that. Now,
a big Toronto welcome to Grady Dick.
Now, people, I'm going to say one day, I'm just going to call him GD for short because I've heard too many memes, jokes, and the guy seems to be a very personable young man who fell in love with the city as soon as he got here. But then again, if I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, freaking Toronto must look like Oz. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know what I mean? I heard his parents. He was on. He was on the, what was it, the Overdrive. I heard him on Overdrive for a minute. I heard he was coming on. I listened to him. The guy was too much fun. He brought up his mom, his dad.
She played with Iowa State.
Yes, right. And all that stuff they were talking about. But then he alluded to the fact that they said, have you been downtown yet, kid? And his tone of voice went, yeah, I'm in Toronto. And that's all I'm going to say, which I love that our city has that rep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I come into town like, I didn't know this was Toronto. Yeah, it is. See, people start realizing he's going to pay the money. I think he's going to be good. The thing about about this kid is this. The kid can frickin' shoot. Mm-hmm. And everybody's been screaming, oh, who is Toronto needs shooters. Toronto needs shooters. Right? Well, we got the kid. Now, I don't think he's going to come in at 19-year-old and burn up the league, but I think if he's set up properly in this offense with this new guy who's an offensive guy, he could be a potential. No, Wembanyama is going to be Rookie of the Year. Like, that's already mailed in. He should be doing enough to
barring health, yes.
Barring health. And not only that, his people got to remember this. His defensive prowess is going to be what people are going to be talking about.
Oh, he's going to be the biggest guy on the court.
And the way, but his arm spread, and what's he going to do?
Oh, yeah, the wingspan,
the wingspan and the blocking. But I heard something very interesting, and you tell me, what would you do? This is the World Championships of basketball this year, and he was a starter for France.
For France, yeah.
And he said, no, I'm going to go play in the G League because I want to get NBA ready. I think that Tony Kornheiser put it best. Anytime you got a chance to play for your country on that level, is an experience you're never going to get anywhere else. So couldn't he show his prowess? Because he would be playing against a lot of men and NBA players in the World Championship. So it's no biggie. He's going to play for them 100 times more. I guess his priority is the NBA, but I really wish that he had played in the Worlds. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But he's not. And in any event, anybody else in the top 10, I want to know, does anybody even know who any of these guys are? I'm going to tell you one more guy that's really got my attention. And the kid's name is Anthony Black out of Arkansas.
Drafted by Orlando.
This guy going with the Rookie of the Year last year, Panachero, whatever he says is, Orlando's building they're building their version of the Memphis Grizzlies, who we'll get to in a moment when we talk about the draft. I'm also saying, where's the guy? Taylor Hendricks, number 9 for the Jazz. Remember him. He had a little bit of a minor injury thing, and he played for Central Florida, so he's not known as one of the big schools, but everyone remember, John Morant went to Murray State. So it's not always about what college you went to. It's like where you develop your skids. And
sure.
He could be that. And
Utah's building up a good program, so I trust them.
Yeah, well, they've got Danny, what's his name, running shows.
Danny Ainge.
Yeah, so we're going to be there. All the rest of the guys, I really don't know. I thought that Chris Murray, I'm just knowing him at number 23 from Iowa, I thought he would have went higher. Not that I watch college basketball. The rest of the guys, I'm going, I don't really know them, or I don't see them enough to know. Colby Jones, I remember him from Xavier. He's a little badger. He could be turned out to be something. But we did well to take GD, Mr. Grady Dick. Welcome to Toronto. I'm thinking that you had a great time that you've been here. I hope you get a condo in the same place as Scotty Barnes.
And a shout out to Olivier Maxence Prosper and Leonard Miller, the 2 Canadians drafted.
Oh, yes. We got a shout out to both of them. Yes. I'm glad we did. We did. Always good to have our Canadians drafted. You know what I mean? We should have a substantial team in the Worlds, but I don't know how that's working out. Now we changed coach because Nick Nurse left town, and I don't get that, how all that went down. But in any event, we're going to skip over because we got a lot to talk about, and we've been talking way too long about hockey. But we usually do because we're in Toronto. I want to say goodbye to Mr. Fred Van Fleet.
Yes, he got a big deal. 3 years, $43 million per. Signed with the Houston Rockets to play
Fred D.
To play with Canadian Dylan Brooks. He got a 4-year deal, $20 million per.
Okay, so let me just tell you about this. I think this is very clever because they've also got a new coach in Ama Udoka, who I thought was going to be the Toronto coach, but now all I've heard is he went out with dinner with Masai, seen the press, walked around town and said, "Pretty girls, I'm out of here." That's just brutal. Like he bashed Toronto when he got to Houston. And it was all about nothing.
Did he?
Yeah, very quietly, including some of our celebrations. I'm not going to go there. But, he said a lot about the city that he just doesn't adhere to because he's a man.
Oh, okay.
I'm a man.
Well, good riddance then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? He alluded to, like, he never said anything, but if you read between the lines, I thought that he did Toronto a disservice in the way that he alluded. I've never heard anyone talk about Toronto like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all the great, like, you hear Charles Barkley talk about Toronto?
Loves it here.
Okay, hear Michael Wilbon talk about Toronto. Hear Shaq talk about Toronto. Hear Kyle Lowry and DeRozan, who are longer with the team, say if you go to Toronto, you're going to have a good day at the office. Kawhi Leonard still talking about great Toronto is, and this schmuck.
Even LeBron has good words about Toronto.
Of course it is. He's been on the bridle path. But, I mean, for a coach that's never been here with a reputation that he got and the reason why he got fired and backdoor shots at our city like that, maybe it's good that he didn't come here and coach our team.
Yeah, that doesn't sit right with me.
No, it didn't either. And I remember I was saying at one of our shows, here's our coach. He's coming to town.
Yeah.
And all that nonsense. Well, sometimes you got to eat crow in these situations. And guy's still spitting feathers out of my mouth if you want to know the truth. But to take it one step further, the way he coaches, he had a Marcus Smart in Boston. Okay, and what he's got now is he's got 2 Bulldogs back there.
Yep.
In
Van Vleet and Brooks.
Oh yeah, and he's got a bunch of kids like that. Green. If you really look at the Houston roster, and they've drafted, and they're trying to bring in Harden back, which I don't believe. You
never know.
No. Okay. I will say that. But the bottom line is, when you got 2 guys like that, and both these guys are under 30, Fred's only 28, 29. Remember that. Dylan Brooks is only 26. So they could be around for the rebuild. When all these kids grow to a point where you got a chance to run and make a championship. And Fred Van Fleet, to me, is a floor general. since I'd seen him at Wichita State in college. Now, people are going to say you're going to live and die,
even though
shooting.
Well, Van Vleet, there's an argument to be made that he's a better off-ball guard.
Oh, I agree. That's why it was better when they had Kyle Lowry with him. Okay, but then who's going to be his off-ball guy now? Dylan Brooks? So they're going to learn to play for it. But if you also look at the Houston roster, they got that young kid. Not Green, the other guy. I'm going to look him up right here. Because Houston could suddenly make a jump. With a new coach and these players and the draft choices they've got, let's not just, I'm not going to say they're going to be in the conference finals or anything like that, okay? But if you look at now, I'm looking up their players now. They got Jalen Green. This guy is already proven to be, he's outstanding. Jabari Smith, who's played great. Kevin Porter, who's going to be a great two-way forward. Yeah. They got Kenyon Martin Jr., another tough guy who's going to play that way. Then they got the thing that I didn't realize now, and I'm looking at it, is I forgot that they picked up the Cam Whitmore guy that I was talking about.
Oh, yes. Number 20 overall, I believe.
Yes, that guy too. So, and you know what? The couple veterans they got, the Willie Cauley-Stein, who I thought would be a much better player than it is. He's still young. He's still got time to develop. This could be a team like Sacramento. You know, they've been in the dregs, and all of a sudden they move up. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to run to the conference finals. Maybe losing the first round. But congratulations to Fred VanVleet for getting the bag.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy for him as a person.
You know what I mean? And I'm glad that Dylan Brooks went there to join him, and I'm thinking Houston's going to make a step forward. But now let's talk about some other this free agent nonsense that went on in the NBA that had to happen and you couldn't say nothing about. Kyrie Irving.
Back to Dallas.
What else was he going to do? All that talk, all that bullshit. It's the only place he could get money.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And he only got 3 years.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
$42 million per.
Okay, so yeah, we're not going to go that. But he was nowhere near. Like, just think about 2 years ago where Kyrie basically left, $100 million on the table? Anywhere from $100 to $150 million a year. So listen to all you guys in the NBA that think you got to walk around with a staff in your hand, have incense being sprayed as you're walking into the place.
Walking around like your shit don't stink.
Exactly. Or maybe that's why you're smelling the incense, because your shit smelled so bad. I don't know. And God bless him, because guess what? Still, Kyrie Irving's still one of the top 10, maybe a top 10 player in the NBA today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, regardless how you're going to look at it.
Definitely a top 10 scorer.
Oh, definitely. So, no, like, I'm just at the point where I'm just saying that I thought it was kind of funny, all the talk and where he's going to go. The Lakers couldn't pay him that money.
No.
You know what I mean? And
they hung on, both LA teams hung on to their point guards, Westbrook and Russell, both staying put.
Oh, I think that the Russell Westbrook contract is the sneakiest one in the business. This is the Bertuzzi, Matt Duchene of the NBA.
He looks good with the Clippers.
He looks very good, and guess what? And he's only getting $2 million, isn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, it's
okay, but if he plays that 2 years for the Clippers, then next year he'll be able to get like that Larry Bird kind of thing, because he played for the team and he can come back up into some of the salaries that he does. And look at Westbrook's only 30-31.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? If he stays in shape and does his thing, he could be worth the money.
Yep.
The thing that I'm going to say is that I'm going to say this. I don't want to talk about the Golden State Warriors anymore, because first of all, I hope they never win a championship again. I'm glad that Draymond Green was one of our bitches of the year, and this is why. But how do you punch a guy in the face and everybody justifies it, and they ship the kid out of town, and they bring Draymond Green because you wanted another run, and now they're going to get Chris Paul in to join him for his 20 minutes a night to make it look better? I think it's a bad look on a franchise that had some pretty good they won championships and they were model citizens. Maybe that's the reason the general manager left. They weren't happy with the tone of where the team was going.
Probably.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to put the pieces together. Now, let's get something straight here. Draymond Green's a smart guy.
Of course.
He's a good defensive player. He's been solid on the team.
Great defensive player.
Exactly. One of the best, and that's probably going to make his open the door for him to get the Hall of Fame one day, because he's so well loved. He's so well loved.
Yeah, keep peace on a number of championship teams. They'll do it.
Oh, 4 now. But I'm just saying that it puts a bad taste in my mouth at what he got away with. Just because Jordan Poole was young and mouthed them back. Like, all the things that he did and all the things that make him the agitator that he was and all that other kind of nonsense. And then it was, Poole was too freaking mouthy for his own good. He's one of those cocky young kids and all that other bullshit. Was he there scoring those points when he won the championship last year?
Keep peace.
Did you give the guy a bag? So here we go.
The reward for Draymond is $100 million for punching a rookie in the face.
I'm 150. Isn't it 100?
No, it's 100. It's 4 years, $25 million.
Oh yeah, the 20. Oh yeah. So still, he got 100 mil at 33. And he's got the, as they say, the highly coveted player option in year 4.
Oh, there you go.
So I mean, no matter what, if he's a bum,
cash out for more.
If he's a bum, you know what I mean. The only one is you got to gamble like that because that's what Freddie had, the player option for the end of this year, right? The Raptors actually wanted a team option. He said no. He wanted a player option, and they gave it to him because remember, Masai even signed him early. Because remember, he was undrafted and signed, and then he got that contract where everyone thought he was a little bit overpaid. Fred VanVleet did everything that a professional should do. You know what I mean? Now, let's look at a couple of the other signings that I'm not so necessarily sure of. Okay?
Middleton
going, I think that he got re-signed just because they won a championship, and this is like glory money. Agreed?
Health is an issue with him.
Oh, and
$34 million that's high. That's high. For 3 years as well. I think that's tough to justify. Derrick Rose signing with the Grizzlies as well.
Oh, but I thought that was a cool little signing because they bring in Marcus Smart. And not only that, they re-signed Desmond Bane, so they kept him in-house. So what's going to happen is Derrick Rose is only have to do is don't turn the ball over for 12 minutes a night. Derrick Rose can do that, don't you think?
Yep.
That's all he has to do. And don't forget, they don't get Ja for 25 games. And
someone's got to step up.
And so they got Bane and Marcus Smart will be the two guys in the backcourt, which is great. When you got a Marcus Smart in your dressing room, he's just going to add something to the team that they need, probably maturity.
Yeah.
And you add him with Jared Jackson and Brandon Clark, and Steven Adams is supposed to be ready for the training camp. I'm saying the Memphis Grizzlies are on their way to being a contender this year. That's my opinion.
Well, they were the number 2 seed last year, so.
And they blew it with all this freaking shenanigans against the Lakers, the injuries, the blah, blah, blah. I think they lost more on bullshit than they lost on. They lost on because they didn't have the guile that the Lakers had.
Oh, experience won out at the end of the day.
Yes, I mean, and they looked bad going out the way they did with that, with the youth, the stupidity, Ja having his issues, blah, 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 and here we are. The one that I think is interesting is, how did they sign Austin Reaves? This guy is getting, I never even heard of this guy. 3 or 4 years ago? The guy got $56 million. You know what I mean? Okay, they say it's well below if he pursued it from an outside team. But who said it was going to give him that? Is anyone going to give him that money? The kid should be happy. 4 years, 50. What did you hear of Austin Reaves?
Well, this is the first I started hearing of him this year.
Okay, there you go. And then, no. He's another one I don't get. I think Brook Lopez was a better sign.
Oh, agreed.
Than the Middleton was because he's like the Robin to frickin' the Greek Freaks Batman, so to speak. And I fully expect the Milwaukee Bucks to be back into the hunt, and I would love to see a Joker Freak Finals. That's my fantasy
I would love to see
baseball.
that too.
You know what I'm saying?
Signed son Eric Gordon. I think that's a good pickup for them.
Who's that?
Eric Gordon signing with the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, I thought it was good too. And who else did the Suns sign? They signed somebody else that I thought, the Bradley Beal. Or the trade, they got him on that on there. Yeah. So add that on and keeping Westbrook. I think the Phoenix Suns are going to, the Clippers, I'm getting mixed up. The Clippers have Kawhi, Paul George, Westbrook, and who else? And it's the Suns that got Bradley Beal.
Yeah, and Eric
Gordon, Durant, Devin Booker, and
Ayton.
What's that?
Ayton?
And Ayton. I don't think they should trade Ayton. That's what I was getting at. I think the Clippers can be just the way they are with the other guys in the bench. So they've got some dumb depth, okay?
Fresh down the House That Happens newswire.
What's that?
Anthony Edwards signs the max extension, 5 years, $260 million. So that'll pay him about $52 million a year.
For Minnesota?
Yes.
That's a gimme. Oh, by the way, the House That Happens, I don't know, can we say he's one of our top 5 players? Anthony Edwards.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, can we just say that he should be the focal point of that Timberwolves team from now on, not Carl Anthony?
You hear what Carl Anthony said? He's going to change the way basketball's looked at.
Oh, get out of here. I thought you were going to be serious for a second.
Oh, God. He's God. What did he say? He's a combination of LeBron, Wilt Chamberlain,
Jesus Christ.
And Jesus and a little bit of Vic and Gandhi.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? The guy was unbelievable. But no, big shout out to Anthony Edwards getting the max now. I guess they're getting him in because the salary cap's being, the luxury tax is coming. But that just came up now.
Just came in now.
And how old is he? 24?
Yeah, they're about.
Oh, Anthony Edwards. You know what? I think he's going to be... Him and John Morant are my two favorite players. I just hope John doesn't do anything stupid anymore because I can't defend him anymore. And as you ripped me hard on the show the other day for even making a joke about it, he's going to be coming back. Speaking of John Morant, do you think he's one of the reasons that Jalen Rose is one of the personalities that got axed from ESPN?
Let's finish with some more NBA. So I want to talk about the Raptors signings. So they signed Dennis Schroeder, 2 years, $13 million per. I think that's a pretty good deal.
I think
he's athletic.
What's the comparable NHL deal for Schroeder? I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. He's solid.
He fits our system. He's athletic. He's good on defense.
Yes, and he can make a shot.
Yes,
and he can make a shot. So I'll give it to him. The thing is that he's a guy that's he's a perennial Robin.
Yep.
And everywhere he goes, it's just going to find a place where he's going to be settled. For example, what ended up happening with the Lakers then? They decided that D'Angelo Russell was the better choice.
Yeah.
Which I would agree, but D'Angelo Russell had a tryout with the Raptors too. So yes, he did. He had a workout for some of the Raptors people. I think the Webster guy, the GM, Masai's boy. I think he had a workout with him, and they took Schroeder, which is weird because they're both LA guys.
Well, I think the thing was that just. And D'Angelo Russell probably just wanted to go back to the Lakers. That's probably always his first option.
Of course it wasn't. But you know what? There was a moment there they said he might not be. Like
I know. I know. Well, because there's Kyrie talk and all that.
Well, the thing about D'Angelo is that he had a couple of rough games in the playoffs, but I think over the 80 games he has in the playoffs again, he's another guy that's young.
Yeah.
Not even 30. So I think it was wise. And he only got what? He got not even $20 million. Got what, about 18 a year or something like that? I don't know. I thought the most interesting signing, the one that I don't understand, but it happens when you make a splash at the right time, is this Bruce Brown guy signing with the Pacers for what is it? $45 million. Do you know who Bruce Brown is?
Nope. Hold on, we're not done with the Raptors yet. They made a couple more signings. They retained Jakob Poeltl 4-year deal.
Oh, they had to.
Worth about $20 million per.
That's okay. They had to.
I'm fine with that. And then they get Jalen McDaniels 2-year deal worth about $4.5. He was a guy that came from Philly. It was a bit of a funny situation there because they gave him a bunch of money, but he just was rotting on their bench.
So I hope that maybe he'll get here a chance to play.
I mean, you look at the Raptors. We could use a little bit more point guard depth, but on the wings and up front now, we're starting to gain a little bit more depth. I think we're going to be a deeper bench this year. I think we should be able to make the playoffs. Here's
my take on it. I was arguing with people because they say the Raptors were a terrible shooting team. And I'm saying this about the team is that I'm saying that it's a make or break league, and everyone hates when you say to play it. And I said, here's my theory, and Denver helped me out with it this year. You got to make threes in this NBA to win. However, when your threes aren't going down, what do? You got to have an alternative. And all these teams, look at Miami. They had no alternative. They kept firing the threes. When they missed, they went home. How many teams in the playoffs this year? Look at
Boston.
Oh, there you go. How many threes they shoot, they didn't go down. Now, they're a team that should be slapped because they could do exact theory what's happening is. When they didn't do it, what ended up happening in Denver in those games? The Bruce Browns, who just got 45 freaking mil, which I can't believe, they went underneath the coverage, went down in the paint, and Michael Porter got his. Jamal Murray was shooting those high percentage low end shots with a big guy in the middle to protect the rim and also bang on the boards. So I'm saying the Raptors are doing good because this kid they got DG and is a good shooter, and we don't have Fred anymore, but these guys are going to be throwing them up there, and we're clanging. We're going to be able to have Precious and Boucher come in to help clean up the boards and not have to worry about those guys being shooters because we got other guys that do.
And a full season of Poeltl, too.
And a full
snag
season
those
of Poeltl.
Rebounds.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So, and what is going to end up happening is if we don't shoot from the three, and I think this guy, our new coach, will work like that, is he'll go in underneath because we got Anobi, we got Siakam, we got Scotty Barnes, who are great mid-range shooters. So I would rather have a higher percentage of mid-range shooters making shots than a bagload of guys firing them from downtown and getting nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the happy medium was the Denver Nuggets, who are now the NBA championship, who cashed in on a guy like Bruce Brown for $45 million, who did what? Hit mid-range shots in a tight time when the threes weren't going down. You know?
One last thing about the NBA, Damian Lillard finally requests a trade.
Where do you think he's going to go?
Miami's the obvious front runner right now. I don't know if they have the assets to trade exactly for
Pascal Siakam,
him.
the Flynn guy, will give him Precious and our next 2 first-round picks and bring Damon to Toronto.
You sold me.
Is that okay? Is that enough? Is that enough? I know that's just a pipe dream.
I don't know how interested Portland would be in Pascal. I think that's the problem.
But Damon likes Toronto, and he's a rapper too. He'd get in with Drake. He's got his own records.
I know, but you got to make it work for the team and the player as well. That's the problem.
Well, there's some contract there. Siakam's got a big contract. We can work it out. We're not. I'm just saying this. I will lose my shit.
Is that the guy you want, though?
Okay, but I'm going to tell you this. I will lose my shit if we give up Anobi. Anobi and Barnes should be the anchors of this team.
That should be a non-starter. And Anobi should be a non-starter.
That's what I'm saying. So, but everyone's looking for him, and thank God Masai didn't let him go. So let's give him a little bit more of offensive time, and we'll go from there.
One last thing about the Raptors now. So, who's starting on the bench? Because we got 6 guys who could potentially start now next year. So Pirtle's obviously your starting center.
Yep.
Siakam and OG are starting.
They're both forwards.
That leaves Gary Trent, Scotty Barnes, Dennis Schroeder.
So it'll be Schroeder and Scotty Barnes, and Trent will come off the bench. I was surprised that we kept him around, though, Trent. Remember I said I thought he'd be out of town?
I thought so, too. I was right there with you.
Maybe he's going to work on his shooting. His contract is friendly for the team. What we're going to be doing in the next little while, because we're running a little late here because we talk so much about hockey that we're in Toronto, and we're going to expand on both of these before the season starts, because it's July 1st before you know it's going to be August 1st. We'll be talking a lot more football, but we'll get to that in a minute. But what we really have to do is we're going to take a little bit of time to discuss the frauds that are the Toronto Blue Jays. What's going on, bro?
They're frighteningly mediocre.
Wait a second here. Let's just cut to the chase.
Messy middle.
I have said this. I think it's on one of the shows. I'm going to back to say that. We do not have a number 1 stopper, believe it or not, as a starter. Gozman beside him. I think he's a great number 2. I think Barrios is a great number 2. I think Bassett's a head case that better have freaking Kirk catch for him every time, because I don't know what that guy's going to do. The Japanese guy's been amazing. But he can get rocked anytime like he did on the weekend by Boston. But what's really embarrassing is we had a chance at Boston, a division. Do you see our record against the division? And then Boston's in a 5-game losing streak, comes into the Dome on Canada Day weekend and does what?
They sweep us.
Oh.
And now they're only 2 games back of us.
Okay, so let's take it one step further. Let's talk about our stars. Okay, what did they do? Bichette, you're hitting the cover off the ball. You're doing amazing. You're not a shortstop. I'm going to keep beating the stick with that. How did you end up being the third out at home to end the game? There's one loss right there.
Yep.
Okay, the other loss. Vladdy, I know you want to win more than everybody. I know you're flamboyant. You're trying to do everything. I know you got a great arm. Where were you throwing that ball to tie the game the other night to blow it? We still would have been 4-3. Mm-hmm. It was 4-3. He threw that ball where? He was in Etobicoke and landed in freaking, come on. So that's 2. And I've got this to say, and I've been saying it all year. Even if we get there, remember I told you those stupid little things that haunt the Toronto Blue Jays? That's what's going to send us home. Like that throw by freaking, how many times are these guys getting thrown out around the bases doing stupid things this year?
Oh, it's happened way too many times this year.
So how many times we ran out of a game? Another thing is, are we the defensive team that we are supposed to be, giving up the amount of offense that we did? No. So I'm going to beat that horse till it's dead because, yesterday, look what I see. Teoscar Hernandez. Okay, he's got a big strikeout total. Made a great throw from right field against Seattle yesterday when they beat the team that's going to go to the World Series, which is, I believe, the Texas Rangers. The Tampa Bay and Texas. I think those 2 teams are going to play for it all when it comes down to it, because they're going to be there. But what's Teoscar doing now? He's got his close to 20 home runs. He's got his 50 RBIs. He's hitting about 250, and he's playing solid defense. Not the greatest defense. No. Would you take him back in our lineup over Varsho right now? Okay, let's take it one step further. Let's go. We got a guy that's really, really good defensively. I call him Mr. Part-Time, and he's Kiermaier.
Yeah.
I call him Mr. Part-Time because we'll put him in against some hitters and hit him against other hitters. But I know, and his defense is better than anybody in the team. He's the best defensive outfielder in the team. But guess what? I'll give up that defense for the 17 home runs, 48 RBIs, and the 271 batting average off a guy who's going to make some mistakes in left field, but he's going to throw people out, and that's Gurriel.
Well, you should have made the Guriel Varsho. They should have been a more.
Well, I'm just saying all of it. I don't really care. We're out, like, who would you rather have right now, Guriel or Varsho? There's not even a question about that. Okay,
that trade's looking worse and worse every day.
Every day with Marino, who's still not doing great with the bat, but he's still hitting around 280. But it's his defense. But as a rookie, his defensive prowess is second to none. His maturity behind the plate is what he's getting credit for. Kiermaier is a part-time player, bro. Oh, and let's take it one step further. What have I been bitching about all year? Can I see the same lineup for maybe 6 games in a row, or tell me you have a regular platoon, which you've done neither?
No, we don't.
Okay.
So who do the Jays trade at the trade deadline?
I'm still looking for the mercurial left-handed bat. I don't know where. I was looking over at Arizona. They're in first place. You can't get it. I was looking at Cincinnati. They had a guy. Cincinnati's surprising. We're going to get to a minute. They're not.
Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs.
What's that?
They might make the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. Now, because you got to wonder about that division, because Pittsburgh was back there. They fell off. But one thing I'm going to give Cincinnati credit for, and this is what I'm going to say about every team, and this is one of the stats that is really, really freaking I screamed about all season, and Toronto is making a mockery of it, and that's my quality start. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, how many times have I screamed to you, we have the best quality starts in the league, man. That should make us a playoff team, shouldn't it? I don't know about that right now, because if you look at it from this point of view, Toronto, I think, is leading the league pretty well.
We have 40 quality starts.
Okay, so now let's just go down here to where did these stats? How come I'm not getting my thing has completely lost its mind here. Let me see if I can get back to the MLB. Is this the MLB standings? It's going to go to the NBA. Why does it do that? Okay, here we go. Now, if you go to why are you doing that?
Anyways.
Go to Cincinnati. Can you touch Cincinnati there? I think they've already got 30-some quality starts from a team that was nothing to start. Okay?
Let's check that out quickly.
Okay, now let's just take it one step further. I've got a national publication right here that started the season, okay? Toronto was a gimme for the playoffs.
Oh, they were on
gimme.
Everybody's playoff list.
They were a sexy team to go to the World Series. Let's take a look at the Cincinnati Reds. They were projected to be a 5th-place team in the Central Division.
So do you want to know how many quality starts Cincinnati has?
30-something, isn't it?
Oh, way less.
Oh, is it? No,
11,
Milwaukee.
12, 13, 14.
They got 20, don't they? No, it's Milwaukee.
They have 20.
Okay, 20. It's Milwaukee.
Milwaukee?
So check Milwaukee. I bet you Milwaukee has over 30.
Okay. Let's check that quickly.
I think they will have over 30. If you get to Miami, who's making a run for it, over 30. If you go to Atlanta, who may be the best team in baseball,
yep,
over 30. Okay? The only anomaly is this freaking stupid Tampa team, because I never know what the hell they're doing with their starters. They got 3 starters, basically.
Yeah.
3
well,
starters.
4 now with, what's his name? He's healthy again, right? What's his name? The guy who was, like, always injured. I'm blanking now.
Oh, I'm going to go to their roster right now. If this thing will ever please do me well. Never gets me to where I want. Oh, this is okay.
So Milwaukee Brewers, they have 18, 21.
30s.
Yeah, they have over 30 quality starts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're a team that I'm saying they're the ones that if you look at them, they're going to be there.
35 quality starts.
You know, another thing that caught me off guard, check Arizona. There's another team that came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, they had all of these starters. Now, why is I can't even. I need that personal assistant. I keep putting in MLB, and
I don't think Arizona's going to hang on to that division, but I think
they can make the playoffs. So
exactly.
But look at their top 3 starters. Their top 3 starters are pretty damn good. You know what I mean? I think that they're really good, as a matter of fact. They're holding up as well as anybody in the league, which caught me off guard.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? I was not expecting them to be. No, I finally got it, bro. Here we go. Let's go find the National League. We're going to go with Arizona, the Diamondbacks. Let's see what. Let's go back. I thought Cincinnati was really the surprise team of the league, but when you think about it, Arizona was getting no love. When you think about it, that's Diamondbacks. They were projected to be third, okay, but they weren't expected to make the playoffs. But if I'm looking at their roster, what gets me about them is their like won't even show me where the stats. Look at their top 3 starters. But how come they don't show me stats here? Like, can't you show me some stats, please, Arizona? You know what I mean? Oh, and Corbin Carroll is turning into a star. He's starting on the All-Star game. They're going to be good. My point is this. I want to go around before I get drafted in there, and I had this all on my tablet to go, and now my tablet's telling me to go to hell. I had this all lined up to go here. None of this is really working. My point is this, and we're starting with the Toronto Blue Jays, and let's look around the league. We're having a huge anomaly this year because if you look at the Cincinnati Reds, they've been a doormat for how long? They're in the door. They're hunting for it.
Yeah.
Arizona, where have they been? Up and down. And all of a sudden, they're in a division where they are which is probably the most expensive going around. Atlanta is going to be there. We got it. Atlanta is a solid team. And you look at ours. The only anomaly that I'm seeing right here, and the Central divisions in both teams are sketchy at best.
Yeah.
The Braves are a solid team, but you got the Marlins. They were a perennial freaking garbage team, and they're all in a playoff spot right now. What I'm going to get at is this. I love the fact that it's greedy American capitalism that runs baseball, but I don't give a damn about the New York Mets, the San Diego Padres, the Los Angeles Dodgers, all those teams that are supposed to just rip shot over baseball, who have a no-cap situation because it's completely capitalism. And who's going to go to the World Series this year? Tampa. You know what I mean? Arizona's going to be in the hunt. You got Cincinnati breathing around.
Well, I mean, you never know. You never know with the postseason baseball. It's all just getting hot at the right time. But.
Okay, but I'm still saying Milwaukee is no big, large market team, and they've settled down to be a team that could be a contender too. Because I'm just saying this is we're going to go along here. Like if you we're the Mets. They are 8 games under 500. And it's the All-Star break. You don't come back from that by now unless they have like the Phillies have righted their ship and they're coming down the stretch and they're going to make you know what I mean? They're going to say they're going to come around. We talked about the Pirates earlier. They're done. They were complete frauds.
Yeah.
They're 500 and they're going nowhere fast.
But I mean, that being said, their division stinks enough.
Why should it stink? The St. Louis Cardinals were predicted to go to the World Series. If you want to look here, they were predicted.
Okay, well they're dead last now.
Dead last. So and they're basically they're baseball. St. Louis is a baseball team, so and the Cubs.
Yeah.
There's a big market team. Everything they lost steals. They're garbage. Now, let's go to this NL West, which blows my mind. Here's the Diamondbacks. Now, they're only got 3 games up on the Dodgers, and I think the Dodgers are going to chase them down because of their money, even though the Dodgers pitching staff's insane. But on the next show, we're going to look at pitching staffs at the baseball and say who's going to be there. The Diamondbacks have got 3 solid starters. I just know that, and their defense is fine, and they got a bunch of young guards. Gurriel was a great pickup for them. He's been solid in left field. I'm saying the Giants are going to stick around the Dodgers, but what about the Padres? They're 8 games under 500. They got any chance of making a comeback here, getting in the playoff picture? They're going to have a huge
the sand's running out in the hourglass.
Oh, huge. And I'm just saying to myself, do I feel sorry for him? The greatest thing about this is I love is, in my opinion, what I love is the fact that they're always talking about if you spend money, you will win. Huh? How do we feel now? No,
you have to spend your money on the right things.
Exactly. So what is that saying about the Tampa Bay Rays? Worst stadium, worst attendance, worst fan base.
Some of the best ownership, though.
Oh, their ownership's off the charts, and they have 2 potential MVP candidates this year on the team. And
potential Cy Young candidate.
Potential Cy Young candidate. Look at this in the stand there. And you know what I'm saying? The other team that we have to give credit to in the toughest division in baseball is the Baltimore Orioles.
Oh, hands down.
They're hanging in there like no tomorrow. Like if it wasn't for Tampa Bay, they'd be as good as any team in baseball. Mm-hmm. With that young lineup.
Third best record in the American League.
Oh, and I think top 5 lineup in baseball. Come on. Even though I do
top 5. Yeah, they have the 5th best record in the majors.
I'm still saying that I'm saying Atlanta. Atlanta's the best team in baseball. I'm looking with a soon in that. But I
love what the Braves have done.
Oh, they're just a great team. And what we're gonna have to do is spend less time on hockey time. I mean, bring up all of our guys here because
we can get more into baseball next week.
Oh, 100%. But what I'm getting around to is that I'm going to start saying already the teams that I like Texas. And even with the horrible loss of DeGrom. Like, I think when we get down there to, like, who's going to be playing in the ALCS and the NLCS, I think Atlanta's going to be there, but I think it could be Texas and Tampa Bay.
Don't count out Houston.
No, I think Houston's too flawed. I think they're too flawed.
They had a bit of a slow start, but they've been coming back now.
Coming back where?
They're only 4 games back at Texas for first.
I don't think they're going to be there. I think Texas is strong. I think DeGrom was a huge. I think DeGrom was a huge loss, no doubt about it. Okay, but when you think about it, the Astros have been up and down. No, they're on a winning streak right now. Does that mean the Angels are going to get in? And the Mariners are not going away. So where does that put Toronto? We're outside looking in at the playoffs right now, correct?
Yes.
By what? 2 games? I will go to
game and a half.
Okay, so I will always look at things this way. The Yankees got 2 of us on the loss column. Okay? The Yankees got 2. We're right there with the Angels. The Astros have got 2 on us. And the Mariners, who are 2 games under 500, can still right the ship and make a run for a wild card. I think their team's too good. I think the Mariners...
The Mariners are a garbage road team, though.
Oh,
they can't win on the road.
Okay, so what are we going to see here? I don't know, but look at Toronto. Here's what I don't like about Toronto now. We're 23-18 at home. We're supposed to play 600 at home. Remember 600 at home, 500 on the road. We're 22-22 away. But our next 6 games are against who? Chicago and Detroit. We got to win 4 or 6 of those. You know what I mean? I'm still saying this. BOH, if you're listening, that's Andrew Freeman. You're out there. And all the other people on my chat site about the Blue Jays are hoping for this and that. I'm just going to say one thing. I'm still not sold on the Toronto Blue Jays making the playoffs this year. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not sold on it.
I'm not either.
I think they're going to miss.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they got the money to make some moves at the trade deadline, but we're going to see if they're going to make. We need that left-handed power bat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not worried about the bullpen. I think we can get through with the pitching.
You need to figure out your starter situation too. What's going on with Manoah? Got called up to Double-A, but so what?
Okay, but maybe listen. We've got lots of time. If Manoah shows up at the beginning of September, and he's being Manoah,
big if.
Manoah. Well, I heard. You know what the number one is? It's conditioning.
Honestly, I have more faith in Ryu coming back and looking good.
Oh, if Rio comes back, that could be it. You know what I'm saying? That could be spectacular. But in any event, we've been running the show way too long. Don't you think anything want to conclude?
So I want to say
wise?
next week. I want to say for baseball, we can give our MVP and Cy Young picks.
Oh, definitely. And I think we should make our playoff prognostications and our playoff picks and what we're going to be thinking about the All-Star game. We do also have a couple of people that we would like to have guests coming up. Agreed?
Yes.
We're going to work them in the next little while. I'm going to be having some time off. We might be doing some couple extra shows. I want people to know that we're going to be coming up with a guest, and I really think that we should do this. If you want to start talking to us already, as we're going out the door, we're training camp being about a month away from the NFL. I think that we really should do a show on who we think are the greatest running backs of all time in the NFL, due to the fact that the running back situation is becoming insane in the NFL.
Yes.
If you know how it's going, I want to do a big shout out to a guy named John Alexander Cruz, who won the lottery in my fantasy football league. So I will have the first pick overall in a 17-year keeper league.
Wow.
Going. I don't know who I'm going to be taking. Gibbs of Detroit seems to be a pick, but I can't take him because of his size. 5'9". I don't know who I'm going to be taking. All of this is going to be coming up in the world of sports. We should do a big shout out to somebody who is doing something spectacular when we talk about greatness. It would be, what would we say, dismissive if we didn't bring up the best bad guy in sports today, Mr. Max Verstappen, winning again at the Formula One.
Yes, a big win in Austria this weekend. Was a fantastic race. And we got
a cool
Serge in the house right now.
Which is about time we got to see him. How you doing there, Serge? Another thing I want to shout out about what's going on is the Toronto Argonauts are the biggest winning team in the city as we speak. So we are not the biggest CFL fans in the house. That happens, but we got to shout out to our Toronto Argos.
That's right.
Don't you agree? As for the other thing in money, we're not even going to bring up the Toronto FC because of the most pathetic situation we've been talking about all day. What do you do with your money? Give us a happy Canada Day. The proprietor's in the house.
How's it going, guys?
How you doing?
Good. Just getting ready for the Argos game tonight.
I know.
Nice. And they're giving a little honor to Mookie Wilson tonight.
Are they really?
Mookie.
He's in town?
Mookie, yeah, they're going to honor Mookie today, and
big
Damon Allen's going to
throw the ball.
Today.
So we're looking at the 3-0 Toronto Argos should be today, correct?
Hope so. Well, they're playing the BC
Lions.
3-0 too.
Oh, big game. Yeah, should be right. So we should
want to come? Extra tickets.
I don't know yet. I'll talk to you a little bit later. We've been missing the phone calls. You called me really late the other night. Where was I?
I don't know.
When I got up, I said, you're probably in the house doing whatever it is. Happy Canada Day, buddy.
Okay,
Sorry,
guys, have a
Mr.
good day.
Yes,
Talk to you
everybody,
later.
good
Happy
weekend.
Canada
Yes,
Day.
Yes, we did. Happy Canada Day. In any event, once again, we want to tell you that we are very happy to be coming from Shuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke. We are the house that happens, and my name is Cruz.
I'm Andrew Milani.
And you know we do one thing, and that's keep the vibe alive.